Gotta tweet this out. The most important tweet of the day. Very big important tweet. Anybody else here send an important tweet? Recently? Live. I do a live and then I do a red circle as like a live symbol. Everyone universally gets that. And then I click tweet. And look at that, baby. Hahaha. What's up, friends? Just threw up in the sink about 30 minutes ago. Nice, Nick. Sorry about that. What's up, fam jam? Salutations, earthlings. Salutations to you. Hawk, you never tweeted in your life? I would suggest staying away from it. I think it might drive you up a wall. Certainly does me. What's up, dudes? Everybody doing a Fortnite dance right now? The, what's that one? The yellow sobriety. I forget what it's called. But I'm doing fantastic this fine evening. Do I really use HelloFresh? I do, yeah, it's pretty sweet. I cook it with my roommates. Housemates, rather, I suppose. Just imagine if we're all crammed into one room, that would be a little awkward. What did you miss, Cassie? Nothing at all. What's a tweet? Well, a tweet is where all of those terrible thoughts you had in your head, you type them, and you make them public for people to see. And then they can yell at you and pretend like it holds some sort of societal merit. It's actually kind of baffling to me how powerful Twitter has become as a, I don't know, just a, what started out as presumably just a silly social experiment. You would never imagine. It seems like it's now become like the decree of where the new scrolls and commandments from the Lord come from, you know? Is HelloFresh worth it? I think so. I mean, it's up to you if you like. I mean, there's a lot of like home meals that you can get delivered to your home. I think this one's interesting because a lot of the ingredients are all fresh, and but you cook them yourself, you know? So it's kind of a fun process, and you learn kind of along the way. So you might have to have some like cooking experience prior to going into it, but it definitely walks you through it. Why is nobody in the Discord? Oh yeah. Do you guys do a live chat and watching in the Discord? That would be fun. I don't even know if any mods are here right now. I didn't notice, to be honest with you. Can Audible hire me? For advertisements or for reading every one of their books? Yeah, hopefully Adriana will make you feel oh so much better. Oh, there's Fry. Hi, Fry. Get all those beautiful people into the Discord. Yarrow with the 5 buckaroonies says, haven't been able to join one of your streams in a hot minute. Thanks for doing what you do. Give Pradeep some love for me. I shall. He's out there in the living room holding it down right now. He seems like he's in one of his real deep naps, so I might not see him for a while. But sometimes I feel like he's good at like hearing me talking and then being like, what the hell's going on here? Why is the door closed? And then I'll start smashing his body into the door. What's up, Alec? But do I play any instruments? I do not, no. I've purchased many an instrument in hopes of learning, but I just have not had the patience or the knowledge to sit down and learn on my own. Something though I do regret not learning as a kid. Wish I would have, like, pretty much everything you want to do as a kid, so you learn it early. learn that discipline. It's not impossible as an adult to accomplish stuff, but I don't really think many Beethovens come out of nowhere when they're 30 or beyond. But that's not to say it isn't impossible. Imagine me reading 50 Shades of Grey. Imagine instead of like whatever that guy's name is, Mr. Grey, what if he was like just a homeless guy that she was doing all that weird shit with? That'd have been a lot funnier, I think. I'd read that book. I'd read a 50 Shades of Grey too. Broke ass Mr. Grey. Jensen's here for the cream hole. It's all filled up, buddy. Can I sing? No, and I cannot sing. I cannot sing at all. I can't do it at all. I'm the worst. Laura with a 5. Welcome back, Laura. Laying down with my stomach pain, so it's perfect time to listen. Hope you are well. Pat Pradeep for me loves you much. Thanks for being here. You're welcome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the 5. I should drink some tea. I already feel my voice cracking like a little schoolboy. Cream hole party. Who's here from Discord? It's been nice, you know, sometimes I'm in like another Discord and I'll look at mine and see people chatting in there. And it makes me happy that people are utilizing that as like a community to be friends with one another. You can't sing, but I continue to sing well. No, not at all. I don't know. Anytime I've ever attempted to sing growing up, I never, I don't know, I got made fun of for it, you know what I mean? So I just always kind of assumed it was poopy. But I've never actually really given it a whirl. Maybe I should just like give up video games and just try and fucking learn how to make music and sing. I think that would be sick as fuck. I have no idea how you do that or where you go to start that. If anybody's musically savvy, whether they make beats like these or anything, I really honestly would not mind just like taking time for someone to walk me through how to learn. Did I sing in church? No. I mean, they would have you sing in church and stuff whenever they do songs. It was kind of like, it wasn't my least favorite thing, because sometimes you would get songs you liked, and I understood like the purpose of singing was like, they call it like praise and stuff like that, but to me it always just felt like such a fucking waste of time. I'm like, what are we doing? Why, like, how can you like force yourself to like be praising whenever you're just kind of going through your like 3-song format? I don't know, it's just kind of like mind-numbing. But it was nice at the same time as whenever it was like actually good songs, like the fucking old school. The old school shit's like way better than all like the contemporary bullshit. Lord, 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 I farted and I hope you smell it, Lord. Like you smell my sin when I try to hide it. Jim Adamson with the 2 says, I can finally donate now that I've broken my money fast. Well, thank you, Jem. Thank you. You're taking a break from eating money. Avery with the 2 says, hey, Goober, you're close to 700k. Also, you're stinky. Dude, it is pretty wild. We're almost at 700k, so thank you guys, and welcome to any new subscribers. Let's read Crossover with that Corpse Husband collab. I think he's out of my league now. Even whenever he was just a narrator, there wasn't much room for collabs, so I really doubt it now that he's a YouTube god with almost 6 million subscribers in like a month. All because of Usmungus. Jessica Phillips with the 5ers says, keep it up. Thank you, Jessica. Sing WAP in church. Wet ass pussy, Lord. Now, Lord, that's a wet ass pussy. Your cousin's worship playlist is named WAP, Worship and Praise. That's hilarious. She got a worship and puss, or no, praise. Koala, you don't know this is your top suggestions, but you'll love it. Well, welcome, Koala. Basically, the first 20 minutes here, you can see the time clock at the bottom. I just we're all just chilling, BSing, letting people start to meander in. And I shall get to narrating out all the subscriber stories that are submitted to my subreddit or my email or a mixture of the two. Reddit.com/r/let's-read-official to submit your story. You may even hear it narrated up in her. Cheyenne Dory Bob with the 5 says, hey, what's up, fellow Butterhose? I hope you're all doing well. Well, what do you say, Butterhose? You guys all buttered up and ready to take these stories right to the chin? To the ears, rather, I suppose. Music lessons over Zoom. I mean, I think that'd be perfect. Like, you should... Honestly, I just thought it'd be cool, like... Because I have Fruity Loops, but I guess, I don't know, is Fruity Loops something that people use or whatever? But I just remember, like, the sensation I felt when I made some beats, like, well, just like I was starting to make my own beat and, like, actually felt it start to form. It, like, felt, like, cathartic. Like, I was like, wow, I feel, like, powerful right now. Like a god creating planets, even though this is just, like, some shitty 808 bullcrap. Lou Wop Jr. with the 5 says, what's up, dude? Been sub for years. So happy to watch you grow and get better. Mike Lamau. You help my insomnia so much. Thanks so much, love. You're welcome. Thank you, Lou. Well, crazy years. That is wild. It's crazy to think people have just been sticking around for that long, I know. I always think of, like, the Let's Players where they have, like... I'm sure there's people that you guys have subscribed to, like... Maybe even Markiplier, even though I think a lot of people stick around for him. But, like, you subscribe to them when you're, like, 12. And then by the time you're... I guess for as long as my channel has been around, someone could be, like, 18, you know what I mean? If I was, like, a Let's Player and then just be like, I'm not interested in this douchebag anymore. I'm sick of hearing this spooky stuff. Axeman! God damn it, Joel. What is up, Axeman? What are you doing, Step Axe? Step Bostonian. How do you get your hands on a Discord invite? There you go. Mr. Fry has got the hookup. Alex Santos, you're a new subscriber. Well, welcome. Ebe says, that's me with PewDiePie. Wait, where at? Did you post a picture or something like that? Yeah, there's selfies of in the Discord too. You can see everyone's beautiful faces. Well, welcome, Vixa. I'm glad you can be more active. You had your YouTube account since 2014, and I don't remember when I subscribed to. Yeah, I've been around since August of 2014. It's crazy to think, like, how things have grown, you know? You never quite expect them to get to where they are. Which is pretty fucking cool. Also, I've kind of got, like, a new schedule as far as my life goes. Most likely will be fucked up within a week, but the hope is, you know, as you guys know, I upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday for new videos, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But, you know, and then usually, Spady, you're actually the second person in chat to call me Stinky. The first one was Avery, which you guys wouldn't be wrong. I do have a bit of a musk, but yeah. So streams Tuesday and Thursday and Sunday. But my hope is now that my sleep schedule is a little bit normal, I reset it on Sunday, is that we'll release on the normal days, obviously, but I'm only going to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, right? So basically, then on Tuesdays and Thursdays when I'm streaming out, like right now I would probably still be at the gym, and I feel like it kind of screws me up to like not get back in time to like stream at a decent hour, where sometimes, as you guys may recall, I start at like midnight or some shit, and like I'm like starting way later, which then ends up putting me to sleep way later. If I can figure this sleep schedule out, we're gonna be a much happier YouTube community. Yes, I've got a manly musk comprised of ball sweat and various other tantalizing bacteria. Miss Molly with the 5 says, Joel, my dear, I hope you're having a lovely night. You being live has made my day feel less lazy, so thank you for that. You're welcome. Give you the energy you need to wash those dishes. Anybody in your family ever say wash like wash? It's pretty funny. I know in Jersey they say wooder, or some areas of Jersey, maybe South Jersey. Helena says, you are the melatonin to my sleep, and have and will be. Your voice completes me. Thank you, Helena. Sleep is so good. Yeah, lately I've been, just to like get myself to sleep at like a decent hour, take Benadryl. I don't know if anybody ever takes Benadryl. The actual name is diphenhydramine, HCl, 25 milligrams. But each they're like tablets, so each one's like 12.5. But 'tis whatever. I do feel really fucking groggy when you take Benadryl, though. People who take Benadryl for their allergies, I feel bad for them because it knocks me out like every time, no matter how much I take it or how often. David Lynch's severed ear. Joel, finals are absolutely killing me. It's great to take a break from work with your life. So welcome, David Lynch's severed ear. Break free of David himself for a little while. Too early, Nikki. Too early for the stream, or did I say a joke that was too soon? I guess you would have said too soon. Do you have a career besides YouTube? I was a registered nurse. Technically still am, like licensed and stuff like that. Just not too involved anymore now that YouTube is like the main gig. You feel me? Benadryl doesn't make you sleepy at all. Oh, nice. Maybe it just depends on the person. I don't know. But every time I take it, I'm just straight up grogged. You were on 150 milligrams of trazodone. Didn't do a thing for me. Interesting. I heard trazodone is supposed to really knock you out. But yeah, I guess everybody's different. Benadryl equals dementia? Oh, like that's how you feel? Or that's what happens when you take it? Joel always finishes too soon. Joel's a quickie. Don't take it then. That's worse than having a fucked up sleep schedule. Well, I mean, it's groggy if I take too much, but if I can take enough to like get me out, I'm usually good. And basically the only reason I'm taking it right now is because, say you slept till like fucking 4 p.m. or some shit, and then you wanted to fall asleep at midnight. You just need something to get you there that can like keep you asleep till like 6 in the morning, and then you can reset. So usually you take something to help you kind of like fall asleep at the same time every night until eventually you've been awake enough that you can do it by yourself. Herlinda, no, I would not. Don't get too. Any joke I make, please do not hone in. Do not hone in on it, because I'm just all about that sarcasm. Klonopin. Jeez, all these meds we've come up with just to knock our asses out. What's the meds that we gotta take so we can live? Probably cocaine, I guess, huh? Just kidding, don't do that. Alright, my friends, well, we have made it. We have made it to the end. Well, not the end, just kidding. The beginning, actually, but the end of the beginning to start the middle. I'm going to switch over to our reading screen provided to us by the beautiful Robin Mikalsen. Oh, coffee. Coffee and cocaine for Hannah. And we're going to throw on some Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. Yes. Let's get it. Let's get it, baby. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't know why I feel like I missed something. Oh, yeah, okay, we're good. Sorry, chaps and chapettes. Joel dried sweat. I'm selling it. Starting to sell my sweat in the dried. Condensed formula. How do I feel that the Steelers lost, Joel? Well, you know what? That was impressive, honestly. By an impressive performance by the Redskins, or not the Redskins now, I guess the Washington football team. But I'm so used to calling them that team because they were part of the NFC East, which is where my my squad is from. I won't tell you who because I know you guys will kill me. But that's the cool thing about NFL games, and really I guess like any football game sometime, but primarily NFL games because they are so unpredictable, you know what I mean? Because these are all professional athletes with just insane capabilities and also insane like abilities to overcome mental hurdles, you know what I mean? Like where they just where they don't feel outgunned or outnumbered, you know what I mean? And they just fucking like every game they can bring their all, but so, not surprised. Very impressive. What was it? 11-0 or yeah, 11. They were initially 11-0 as the Steelers, and I did not expect them to do that well. So, they're still obviously going to be placed very highly in the playoffs. But Green Bay all the way. Yeah. Did the story start now? We got 10 stories tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stories. Am I a soccer fan? I am not a soccer fan. I just grew up playing football and being a big tough boy that soccer... I admired soccer players like cardio abilities and all that kind of shit. But I never got into it because I didn't play it growing up. All the football players would be like, the soccer players are foot fairies. But how was being a registered nurse? I was thinking about becoming a registered nurse or dietitian. Being a registered nurse is hard, you know. It's hard. Like, you know, you can have easy nights. You can have really hard nights. You can have really, really, really bad nights. And it just depends. It really does. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more intense working in the ED than it is working on, say, a med-surg floor. You know what I mean? And it just depends, really. And it depends on who you're working with. You know, your coworkers definitely make or break your job really anywhere you go. And for me, I was not a big fan of my floor that I worked on. I'm not sure how much it would have changed where I went, but I've heard that cultures differ from floor to floor. But anyways, overall, just being a nurse is tough, especially right now that there's like just so many different precautions and stuff you have to go through, and patients, you have different types of patients you have to take care of. I don't even know. School's hard as fuck. You know, it's just nonstop. It's like a test or a quiz every week once you get into your program. and so you can't really like go out and party or whatever. But it, you know, I'm sure, I'm not saying that that's what you're into, but then once you're in, it is nice that like it's like a clock in, clock out job, and you can take that degree and job pretty much anywhere in the United States that you want to go. People are always usually looking to hire depending on the, you know, how the market is there or whatever. A lot of agency work is always available, but yeah, it's just a tough job. Like it's tough like coming into work and, you know, say you were just at like a friend's barbecue, you're working night shift and you got to work at 9 p.m. or some shit, and you come in after having a nice like dinner with people, then all of a sudden you got 6 patients that are all like sick as fuck and their families are in there, and all of a sudden their issues are suddenly your issues, you know what I mean? And you just gotta like know how to like turn your nursing brain on and turn it off. It can be a little frustrating at times, and just dealing with people's shit all the time is really hard. But it is what it is. You can make it as good or terrible as you want, but it's just up to you. Owen Helmkamp with the 5 says, "Passed my first semester of nursing school. I want to cry." Oh, nice, Owen. Congratulations. I'm glad you made it. Yeah, my first semester, like initially, like my freshman year was all prereq stuff, and then it wasn't until like my second semester, my sophomore year, that I took actual nursing oriented courses. And I had my first semester, I literally, you know, almost, because like the way that the grading works, it's like if you're below, say, at least in our program, it was like below a 76 or something, you failed. So like that, I was very much on the line, and that wasn't how it was all the time for all the future nursing classes I was in, but it was very nerve-wracking at times where if you failed one test, you were pretty much at like a massive disadvantage. Raven Westnidge with the 5 says, "Hi Joel, how are you doing? Any spoopy stories tonight?" We got, yes sir, we got sir and or madam, sorry. It's hard to tell with the Raven name, but yeah, we got those popping here for you. Sorry I was rambling for a bit. We got subscriber stories, so you guys are going to be into these, and it should be a longer video. I was going to do paranormal tonight, but then I realized I actually don't have any paranormal stories lined up at all, like as far as permissions, because we had not reached out for permissions for any paranormal stories in quite some time. So the only ones I was able to get were ones from the, you know, either submitted, which are not as frequent, I suppose, as the true scary stuff. But anyways, yeah, let's kick this off. And we'll do it. We'll do a reading. We'll do a reading of stories. What do you think about that? I'm an EMT. Have been for about 3 years now. I live and work in Southern California, and this particular transport happened when I was a brand new EMS worker at 4 months. Sorry, the grammar sounded weird there. Brand new EMS worker at 4 months out of probably of 4 months. You have a way too long paranormal story? Well, yeah, submit it. And if it's too long or you feel it's like too long, just condense it down to the parts that you think are important. I live and work in Southern California, and this particular transport happened when I was a brand new EMS worker of 4 months at a private ambulance company. This company was a private BLS, or basic life support, company primarily, meaning we typically transported patients whose care provider had a contract with us. However, sometimes we would run 911 calls out of prisons, and this is where our story begins. It was late into the night at our station when I heard the tone from my radio. Unit 221, priority response to state prison for an unknown medical. Copy. Wheels up in 2, I replied. I walked over to my partner, who was sleeping on our rec area couch. Rise, sweet prince. A life needs saving, I sarcastically exclaimed. We hopped into the rig, the engine roared to life, and we set off, lights blazing, sirens wailing. As we approached the prison, we killed the lights and sirens and proceeded with the routine security check. Once the guards were satisfied with the search, we were given access and led through the gates and parked outside the medical bay. Gurney and medical equipment in tow, we entered the prison hospital. Now, because my partner was the patient person for the last call, I was going to be primary care provider for this patient. Now, though I had been a pretty new EMT, I had done a lot of prison transports in a small period of time. Oh crap, my leg just cracked and I wondered if my mic picked it up. Anybody want to pet one of my cats? They don't want to lay on me at the same time. Alright, I'll volunteer. Now, though I had been a pretty new EMT, I had done a lot of prison transports in a small period of time. I've had inmates scream at me, try to bribe me, and yes, even try to kill me. So as you can imagine, I really wasn't looking for fight night on Unit 221 at 4 in the morning. Regardless, I always prepared for the worst. We were escorted in by guards as usual and led into the main area of the hospital rooms, which were still fitted as cells. I was approached by a nurse, who gave me a sheet of paper with his information and most recent vitals. I began to ask for the turnover report and why this patient required transport, and where we were transporting to. The nurse stared blankly for a moment before he said, "You're going to Scripps Mercy Shores Hospital, room 329. He's going because he doesn't feel well and he needs some tests done. He shouldn't be a problem for you." Already a few silent alarms were going off in my head. Scripps Mercy Shores is a rich people hospital. I have never heard of anyone other than someone wealthy going there, let alone a prisoner. Second, not feeling well and needs tests don't really paint me a great picture for why he needs to go and what I'll be dealing with. And finally, what does "he shouldn't be a problem for you" mean? If he's a violent inmate or even an at-risk patient, they'd normally just say so. Getting an actual report on this patient's health and medical condition was like getting blood from a stone. I decided to just relent and go ahead with the transport. The prison guards brought the shackled patient out to us. Another oddity, every other time I'd go in and talk with them before getting them on... Wait, what? Sorry, for some reason I have snot in my nose. I don't know why. Or I don't know, did you ever sometimes you can hear inside of your sinuses or some shit? I'm talking, as I'm reading, I can hear my the top of my sinuses clicking, which usually means I'm I got some fucking snot in my nose. Sounds gross, sorry. What kind of wine? Who's drinking wine? Not sharing. Zego's got his headphones on. Let's go, baby. Baby. My fucking Grey Goose, baby. The prison guards brought the shackled patient out to us. Another oddity. Every other time I go in and talk with them before getting them onto the Sorry, this sounds so weird. The prison guards brought the shackled patient out to us. Another oddity. Every other time I go in and talk with them before getting them... Oh, okay. Every other time I'd go in and talk with them before getting them onto the gurney. I see. Sorry. You're doing your math and science research project right now. Yikes. Fuck that. Fuck, somebody's using a goddamn... blender out in the fucking kitchen. Oh, it's like a vacuum cleaner. God damn it, dude. It's loud as fuck. It's fucking 8 p.m. Vacuum cleaner time. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can. 1 second. Son of a bitch. I was gonna close this door, but the door is closed, so that's how loud it is. They're making margaritas. That'd be funny. Marie, I don't know why, Marie, but for some reason, like, every one of your messages gets, like, blurred out by YouTube. Like, but you're not saying, like, any bad words like it normally does. If it would blur somebody out if they said, like, a naughty word. But I don't know why yours, like, automatically does. You can hear the if you guys can hear the vacuum cleaner, then my microphone's definitely gonna pick it up. I'm sorry, dudes. Anyways, we'll just chat for a little bit till he's done. Yeah, you hear me yelling and murdering them. Invest in a silent vacuum? Do they have those? Vacuuming at night, yeah. I like to vacuum my dad's mustache off his face in the middle of the night. 8 p.m. is the last chance to vacuum before it's actually time to kick ass for it. Yeah, I suppose so. She's blacklisted on YouTube. Oh, never mind, Marie. Now your message is fine. I don't know why. I don't know if, like, something happened before where you got, like, marked for something, but I don't recall that would be a thing, especially if you're a high valued member. I'm gonna yell my stories, yeah. The prison guards brought the shackled patient out to us. Another oddity. Every other time I go in and talk with them before getting them onto the gurney. Dude, what? Basically, like, cause he's turned that fucking the room, the middle room that we have where we store stuff into, like, his, like, personal hoarding room where pretty much everything he's had since he was a kid is just, like, kept in there. And then he finally decided to, like, clean it out. But I guess that means vacuuming up all the ghosts as well. It's fucking Luigi's Mansion in that room. 300 acres of corn for neighbors. I vacuum at 2 a.m. They have never complained. Well, I guess if your neighbors don't complain. I mean, I doubt that they would be able to hear you vacuuming it in your own house, you know, if they live a distance away. But if you were in the same house as somebody, they might question it. Do they know I do this? They do, but, like, I feel like I just don't want to, like, I don't want, like, even though I have, you know, 400 some people in here right now, it's like, I don't want to, like, be like, hey guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm kind of a big deal, and I need you to stop doing whatever you're doing so I can stream on the internet. Joel is 56. One day I'll be there. Another 26 years. Which is crazy, because I imagine the next 26 years will have gone by faster than the previous 26 years. I assume that's always how it goes. Joel is 69. Hell yeah, brother. They should watch my streams. I think they've watched before, just to, like, in the initial, like, when I first started. But, you know, it's like, you know, you tell somebody you do YouTube and it's like, oh, that's so cool. But eventually everyone's just like, all right, whatever the fuck, man. Don't give a shit anymore. You know what I mean? Like, they're just, like, moved on. Even if your, like, family member was the president, you're like, that's cool. But eventually, like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. It kind of sucks. We are all Winchesters with the 10 kroners. Thank you. I'm 420. I'm 69,420 years old. I wonder if there's anybody in the world. Like, I wonder who actually, in the history of all time, has lived to be the longest. Don't get old, it's downhill after 40. Yeah, I suppose so, huh? But there is this one guy at my gym who's 50, and holy shit, that guy's a fucking beast. Now, granted, I think he's just got, like, the genetics of, like, a... What's it called? A zlotl? Those things that just, like, replicate themselves and never die. And he's, like, jacked. But, I mean, like, I think if you keep yourself in shape and you just, like... I don't know, just stay active and mentally acute, like, I feel like the human body is pretty capable of just continuing to kick ass for a long time. Your cat is 108, holy shit. You're pretty depressed at 30, so... Yeah, there was kind of a weird sensation where I'm just like, in my life, he's still out there juicing. I just, like, don't know, like, because if I ask him to stop, like, he's probably never going to vacuum again in his life. It's just like, like when you're in, like, a cleaning mood, it, like, kills the momentum. Yeah, you're only as old as you feel. I like that. But yeah, lately, like, I realize I'm like, I think where depression, for me, like, whenever I feel, like, down and out or whatever, sometimes is when things start to become monotonous, where you do the same fucking routine all the time, and I don't know, it just, like, starts to not feel very, very fulfilling to kind of just, like, repetitiously repeat it day in and day out, and kind of, like, wonder what your future holds, I suppose. I don't know. Japanese health professionals say live longer, take naps, avoid stress. Yeah, I remember hearing that from there's one guy who was like, "Oh, you want to live longer? Like, exercise less, take naps." He's like, because I think, I mean, he would, like, like, and obviously I think, I don't know how much the science backs this, but it makes a little bit of sense. But, as far as, like, it's almost as if though you have a predetermined amount of, like, heartbeats, like, throughout. Wouldn't that be interesting if at some point in all of human existence they just determined that you had so many heartbeats, essentially, and that each human heart has, let's see, how many times does the human heart beat per day? Okay, your heart beats about 100,000 times in one day and about 35 million times in a year. During an average lifetime, the human heart will beat more than 2.5 billion times. So imagine if, like, someone told you that you only had 2.5 billion heartbeats in, for the rest of your life. And you always had, like, a moving, like, counter on, like, a wristwatch or, like, something you could see. That'd be weird if, like, this, from the time that you were born, you had something, implanted in you that allowed you to see, like, how many times your heart is beat. And then that would be really cool, because I feel like you could essentially determine, based on your health choices, what is or is not slowing down your heartbeats and stuff. And whenever you slow down your heartbeat, it just extends your life, I guess. This is all just made up shit, but I mean, it would be interesting, Increase your mood with drugs and rock and roll, baby. Take cold showers. Yeah, I've heard taking cold showers is good, because it kind of, like, creates a sense of stress that then counteractively your body starts to slow its, like, heartbeat down, like, once it sort of experienced that stress or temperature and pressure change. Obviously, our bodies are just, like, in too much comfort all the time. We just need to be stressed here and there. Okay, vacuuming has stopped. I can read again. The prison guards brought the shackled patient out to us. Another oddity, as every other time I go in and talk with them before getting them onto the gurney. Standing before me was a tall, rather frail-looking man of dark complexion. His eyes were red and sunken. His overall demeanor was a fearful one. He was constantly shivering. He looked like absolute trash. Oh. It says he looked like hell, but I feel like I was trying to think of like what a... Oh, man. I keep hearing my nose like cracking in the top of my sinus, and I don't know if my mic is picking it up. Your body is discomfort all the time. Homework is the ultimate stretch. It is kind of weird, like when you think about humans, like imagine if you were just a human, you were just born in a village or some random ass place, and like you never existed within that sort of Western tradition. You just never existed within that Western tradition of like, fuck, dude, he's just turning it on and off, on and off, on and... God damn it. But like, yeah, say you never existed within that Western tradition of just like, from the time you're like 5 years old, you're already in like a schooling program, and it's, you know, you just are constantly under stress because you want to do well at that. Because I mean, it's just weird. It's weird to me because obviously your high school grades essentially, I feel like, are the only ones that really matter. But it's like doing well in school early, it imparts upon you the patterns and like the repetitious behavior to know how to do well in school, you know what I mean? And then that eventually all that's supposedly down the line supposed to lead you towards a good job and that kind of thing, because it gets you into a fucking good college or whatever. I don't know. I mean, obviously that's how society works, but it's just interesting to think like, what would like adolescence be if it wasn't just like spending 1/3 of your entire existence wasting it in school? Like, what would the young population do, you know? And then also the fact that you kind of have to like wait till you're 18 to like go start a business or whatever, or, you know, go do anything that's like adult like. And whenever a lot of people start to make some pretty independent decisions like in middle of high school, you know, or whatever. At least whenever I was fucking 16 or whatever, I wanted to go accomplish some shit. But I don't know. I guess it's just strange, you know what I mean? Like there's so many different ways like life could be laid out for you. And it's strange to think that really the only reason you adhere to most of what you do in life is because everybody else around you does the same shit, you know? It's the same reason we all kind of like agree that money has any value. It's just because we agree to it, you know? We just agree, oh yeah, this green piece of paper gives me one of your bananas, you know? You might be less depressed. I don't know. If life would, I almost feel like the fact that life is so comfortable a lot of the times almost leads a lot of people to depression, as weird as that sounds. Because imagine if your life was filled with the necessity to chase after an animal to catch it, or, you know, search for berries or whatever the fuck, or build a shelter, or just, you know, derive pleasure from, you know, inventing a contraption that moves water, you know, fresh, you know what I mean? Like, if you basically, I think, like, to a degree, it seems like humans just need to be kept busy with some sort of work, you know, some sort of, whether that work is to benefit themselves. But then all of a sudden, it seems like every modern amenity has created a ways for us to sort of circumnavigate that, you know what I mean? And now a lot of like what we find satisfaction in is sort of taken from us because we're kind of like living in a time, in a pretty unprecedented time within history of just like pure decadence, you know what I mean? Like you pretty much just live in constant pleasure at all times, depending on where you're from, obviously, and it varies from person to person. But even like some of those that exist within poverty here in the United States are living you know, within the top 10% of individuals that live in perhaps another nation by comparison. So How do you stop the voices in your mind from attacking you, though? I guess you just have to stay busy or something like that. Maybe turn your music up louder. I don't know. What type of music do I like? I like all kinds of music. I really like sort of electronic stuff. Weird experimental shit. I mean, even just the lo-fi beats that you heard earlier, I'm down with, you know. Really anything. Not a fan of pop music, though. I think pop music is kind of like bad for your brain, honestly. And it's actually kind of strange to me when I meet people who like don't have a very wide eclectic taste in music, because it's like, I'm like, you're fucking missing out, dude. You literally are like, it's almost like being, say you're like an ant, and your entire fucking life as the ant has just been going through this like very narrow crack in the in the dirt, and you're walking through this dirt crack to get from one end of the yard to the other, and you have no idea that if you just crawled out the side of that crack, surrounding you is just a yard full of like grass and dirt and options, you know. Headbanging metal. I do listen to headbanging metal when I lift heavy weights. Alright. He looked terrible. I introduced myself and began my whole checklist of things to ask and address. We'll call him David. He answered all my questions with a small and quivering voice. When asked what the problem was tonight, he gave a quick and frightened glance towards the guards and the nurse. I don't feel well. His reply sounded forced and rehearsed. Abuse from the staff came to mind first, but I'd address that later. I decided to just go ahead and get this guy going, and I'd wrap everything up in the ambulance. Before loading him in, I asked him the same question. I asked him the same question I asked all inmate patients. Be straight with me, and I'll be straight with you. Are you going to cause problems once we get going? He quickly shook his head no, and we were off. When transporting prisoners, one guard accompanies in the ambulance and another follows in what's called a tail car. This is for everyone's safety and ensuring that if the patient tries anything, an official guard is there to address it. I was busy writing up my report when I realized that between the confusion of the call and the last hour, I had forgotten to get my own set of vitals. A rookie mistake. We were about halfway to our destination, and the patient had remained silent this whole time. I told him I was going to take his vitals. His vitals. System of a Down. It's been a while. I gotta sneeze. Why'd you leave the keys up on the table? Because I wanted to. Morgan says, I don't like my school at all. Many kids here break down your self-worth. When I was in 6th grade, my dad passed, and many people saw it as an opportunity to bully me, so bye to self-confidence. Oh. I'm sorry, Morgan. I know, it's tough, like, finding... I mean, I guess that's a difficult thing, for everyone. Like, where do you find that sense of confidence? Sometimes it's kind of found in what you're participating in. Like, I think you can find that in, like, communities, whether that's a sports team or a small group of some sort, or a friend group and that kind of thing. But it's definitely tough, especially if you've lost a parent at, like, a young age. But I definitely would say, like, do your best to kind of, like, either find a community that you can get involved in, whether it's, like, a church or a sports team, or I'm sure you guys have other suggestions. But just, you know, positive individuals that can support your life and, you know, kind of fill those gaps in between that otherwise would be kind of people miss out on. I told him I was going to take his vitals and instructed him to give me his arm so I could begin. He did so immediately, like he was trained to obey anything demanded of him, and did so with that haunting look of fear. I wrapped my blood pressure cuff around his arm, and that's when I felt him for the first time. His skin was ice cold. There wasn't even a slight warmth to his skin. I asked him if he'd like a blanket, but he declined. I continued with my evaluation. I inflated the cuff, pressed my stethoscope to his brachial artery, and listened for the pulse to come back to show me his blood pressure. It didn't come back. At first I thought my stethoscope was broken, so I grabbed a spare one. Same result. No pulse. I removed all my equipment and felt for a pulse myself. Nothing. I looked at him and asked if he was all right. He replied with a simple, quiet, "I'm okay. Thank you." Caught off guard, I grabbed my pulse oximeter. Oops. The problem with the whole institution of school is the foundation of how we corral kids and set them up for disappointment on rigid curriculums for 8 hours a day for 13 years. Well, that definitely kind of hurt me in my psyche, I guess. Like, obviously it's not going to hurt everyone the same, but I just remember, like, after I got out of school, I realized, we're on story number 1. I realized, like, after I got out of school that, like, how much I needed that, like, sort of, like, forced, or not needed it, but how accustomed I've become to years and years since I was a young kid to just kind of this, like, regimented obligations, you know what I mean? Like, there was almost, like, next to no creativity within my mind of what I could do with my life outside of what I was told. And even whenever I started to deviate from that, my brain was filled with this, like, massive sense of guilt that I was going down the wrong route because I decided to try something different, you know, like doing this YouTube thing or really anything, you know, outside of what my parents or my school system had said to do. And it's just like, and it's strange because that still kind of lingers, like, in the sense that I don't have, like, a lot of creativity for all of the free time that, like, YouTube provides for me, you know. And I wish I did, but I, like, it's almost as if though my mind, like, I can't think of, like, how to creatively approach life any differently to like achieve what it is that I want to achieve, because it's almost as if though I don't even know what it is that I'd like to achieve, you know. I don't know. It's fucking weird. And I feel like I probably should blame myself mainly, but I do to a degree feel like school kind of bred that in me, to think that, to kind of like look to the system, I suppose, look to like authority figures to tell me how to think and how to, like, what to do, and, you know, not really be self-sufficient, I suppose. And it's certainly, there's none of those really systems set up after you get out of college, or, you know, definitely not college. So, but yeah, when you get out of school, you're going full Mad Max anarchist. What does that even mean? You're gonna go live in the woods with Bigfoot? Raven Westnidge with the 5 says, the educational system for most of my young life, for me, utterly failed me. I didn't start getting a true education until college. Yeah, it's tough, you know what I mean? Like, and it's different, yeah, everywhere you go, depending on whether or not, even within the same states, like, inner city school educations are going to be different. And it's not all the same, but I mean, there's going to be a variation between one town over and the next, you know, and it's just strange. Hey, listen. What mic do I use? Yeah, so I use a potato mic, yeah. An AKG C214 for streaming, that's what you're hearing right now. And then for recording, I use an H4n. You're going off the grid. Off the grid, just me and Squatchy. I don't know. I see a lot of people, like, everywhere. They say they want to be like anarcho this and that bullshit, but it's like, I don't really see that manifesting on, like, the, like, pragmatically within, like, you know, modern society, because it's already set up how it is. If you really want to go anarcho, you almost need to go, like, start your own little cult / commune out in California somewhere, or, you know, out in the the wilderness. Maybe go start a tribe and then call it. Or no, you could join. You could join the Amish around. I live in Pennsylvania, and there's Amish here, and I guess you could call them anarcho. I don't know, maybe. Who made the wallpaper? Yeah, so that was made by Robin Mikalsen. He should be linked in the bio, I think, down below. But he makes like pretty much all my thumbnails and different art and stuff. You've learned a lot about your kids and how to teach them. It's a passion. Yeah, I think one of the things that I still struggle with is kind of like when I like figuring out how to learn on my own. You know what I mean? That is something that I have not developed the skills for. Like, cause I remember like hearing, if you can teach a kid how to read very early on, at that point you essentially make them self-sufficient on how to teach themselves. You know, but at the same time, I remember my 8th grade math teacher gave me a word of advice that I had always kind of like stuck with me because it just made me feel insecure about my brain. But she's like, Joel, you lack confidence in your ability to learn. But if you just tried it yourself, you could do it, you know. Because I realized every time I would, especially with math, since it was so like stepwise, I suppose you could say, like I was just so, and still am sometimes like afraid to like deviate from what is the exact correct answer. And I don't know. I think learning how to teach yourself is a really invaluable lesson, because then essentially you at any moment you know your first steps that you can take. You know the first steps you can take to learning a new hobby or learning a new skill or something that can really expand your satisfaction within life independently, you know. Caught off guard, I grabbed my pulse oximeter, which I used to find a heart rate and blood oxygen level, and put it on his finger. After a moment of the machine reading, the heart rate came back as 0, and the blood oxygen level came back as 0. My heart dropped. I took another set of vitals to see if I misread anything, but they all came back the same. Heart rate, 0 blood pressure, 0 blocks... Oops. Heart rate, 0 blood pressure, 0 blood oxygen level, 0. The only thing consistent was his respiratory rate, which was 24 breaths a minute. A bit higher than resting rate, but not alarming in itself. I looked back again and asked him once more if he's okay. He looked me in the eyes and nodded his head yes, as tears welled up in his eyes, then looked away. He was completely alert. He responded perfectly to all my questions. His eyes were equal and reactive, all signs of good brain function, but no signs of a pulse or any vascular activity. At this point, I don't know what to think. Scientifically, there is no reason this guy should be alive. Even if he had an artificial heart, he would be showing vital signs and have a battery pack with a filter kit. But he's right in front of me, alert, breathing, talking when addressed. It makes absolutely no sense. I decided to continue investigating. I listened to his heart with my stethoscope, and there was no beating, no thumping, just the muffled sounds of his breathing. While I was there, I listened to his lungs, all clear, all normal. I had just finished listening to his chest when we pulled into our destination. We offloaded him from the ambulance, took him to the room that we were instructed to, then he hopped off the gurney and was escorted to his hospital bed by the guards. I began giving my almost unbelievable turnover report to the nurse, who surprisingly didn't seem alarmed by any of it. I wrapped up my turnover, then sat down in a nearby chair to finish up my report. As I sat, typing away at my computer, I'm interrupted by the sound of a hospital gurney rolling down the hallway. It was accompanied by 4 people in surgical gowns who entered the inmate's room with said gurney. After a few minutes, the team in the surgical attire emerges from the room, inmate strapped down to the gurney with restraints, audibly crying, and wheeling him down the hallway and around the corner. and this is the last I saw of him. I told my partner once we were back in the ambulance, but he didn't believe me at first, which I can understand. I joke around a lot, but with the look I gave him, he knew I wasn't kidding. Now, this story may not have been what you were expecting. It's not violent or particularly frightening, but this was hands down the most disturbing call I've ever had. I don't know what I saw. I don't know what I transported. I have my theories, such as experimental treatments being carried out on inmates, but with skin like ice, hardly any vital signs, and such a fearful demeanor, I can only wonder what kind of experiments and what kind of horrors that man has faced. Sorry, Charlie. Seuss. You can't promote in the chat, otherwise it will block you out, so my apologies, mate. Hold on, I do have to blow my nose. I think that's me issue. It's so funny seeing like old guys. Whoa, Draconian Overlord, what kind of cool ass symbol do you have on your name there? I've never seen that one before. That's pretty wild, yeah. I mean, if he didn't have a pulse, the pulse oximeter didn't pick it up, you audibly couldn't hear it, like that's pretty strange. That is really weird. I'm allergic to Pradeep. You know, I might be. Over time, build up an allergy to my cat. I mean, his hair is fucking everywhere. Joe, I played an old podcast of yours when I was at the dentist on Laughing Gas. I swear to God, you're repeating the same 5 to 6 words over and over. I wanted to cry. I love you, bro. Maybe. I don't know. That's funny, though. Where's your homies, Lila? Alright, so this is story 2. 'Tis the season to be snotty. This is true. Dude, fuck winter, man. I'm so ready. I think, honestly, I don't know how to make it happen necessarily. I guess it's not too wildly difficult, but I seriously want to just move to Florida. Like, I see no purpose in maintaining life in a cold, dreary place, you know, up north for the rest of my existence. Draconian Overlord says, I've never seen that symbol. Yeah, I wonder if you can choose that. But, see, like, Marie has one. But that's one that I like created, and for depending on how long someone's like a member. But I don't remember making yours that unless you've been a member for like a really long. Oh, there's 2 Draconian Overlords? That's fucking weird. Move to Texas. Where in Texas should I go? Where in Texas can you just like avoid any sort of like natural disasters, and it's just a nice ass area? I go to New York City, news stories every day. No thanks. I'm not really a big fan of New York City. I went there before, and it's like everyone was so fucking toxic, and it's just like everyone's just in a hurry and they're angry, and I feel like right now with COVID bullshit, it's just even more chaotic, and everyone would just be like ready, like at each other's throats. And it's cold, you know what I mean? It's just cold. East Texas. Okay. In a bunker. Yeah. Kentucky. Surprisingly, Kentucky's not actually that far from PA. You've become the insta-god of Let's Read. Indiana, the corn doesn't vacuum. This is true. But there's something in that corn that makes me worried. Sometimes it pops. Texas is terrible? I'm surprised. I'm sure it just depends on where you're at. Florida's getting a new breed of mosquitoes soon. That's exciting. God of Pez with the 5 says, don't move to Florida. Trust me, Joel. No freestyle requests yet because thank you, Pez. Sparing me. Yeah, I mean, it's just a tough thing because it's like I have family here, like all my family, you know? And, I mean, moving places, I feel like it's got to be such a difficult thing, especially like since I work from home essentially, as a lot of people do now. But I mean, been doing that forever. I feel like it'd just be very difficult to like be social and meet people. I mean, I would just really have to go out of my shell to make it happen. You New Yorkers will forever that reputation. I don't know. I'm sure it's not everyone, but when I went there, it was just like there was something about it that just made me feel like my soul was being drained from my body. It's just everyone was in a hurry and everyone was mad and not everyone, but like most everybody, you know. Just, hey, what's up, Winter? Texas is awesome. San Antonio has lots to do. You'll enjoy it. Come visit. Well, okay. All my exes live in Texas. Just watch Toy Story. Nice. Thanks, Monica. Move to Detroit. Oh, Detroit, Oregon. And build a new life. I didn't even know Oregon had a Detroit. I thought there was only the one and only Detroit, Michigan. I met a guy online and we lived pretty far away, so I felt way too comfortable getting close to him. I should have been more careful and wary about friends with... Ever been to the Midwest? I don't think so. Just like Colorado, but obviously that's pretty west. I should have been more careful and wary about being friends with a stranger online, but I was short-sighted. We live in different countries. I live in the United States and he lives in Korea, so I felt fine getting close to him. When we first started talking, he was pretty reserved and a normal-seeming guy. Our friendship got weird though, because after a month or two of knowing each other, he came to a neighboring city of mine because he wanted to visit some family. It was weird because I noticed that he spent a lot of time in my city rather than his family's. Since my city is actually a city and his family's city was very rural, I ignored it and believed him when he said he was bored. I introduced him to my friends and family. He was bored, lonely, and having a hard time, so I felt bad for him. He got close to a lot of my friends, too close for me to feel comfortable, and he's still in contact with some of them. He was in our city for a few weeks before going home to Korea again. While he was there, he genuinely seemed like a normal guy. He was nice, funny, and made more friends in a few weeks of being here than I had for the years I've been here. He got home and called me every day. Around this time, quarantine started in both of our hometowns, so I assumed he was calling me often out of being lonely and bored. Since I too was lonely and bored, I kept up with his calls. He managed to make me feel somehow, even my... Whoops. Sucker Punch with the 10 says, Texas is great. I live in San Antonio. Definitely come during Fiesta. It gets really fun. Nice. Thank you, Sucker Punch, for the 10. What's Fiesta all about? That sounds pretty sweet. Real fact. Concrete actually drains your energy. That's why New York kills. Why? Yeah, what the hell are you talking about? I remember, I don't know. Like, the fact that you can't really, like, own a home in New York City, I feel like kind of sucks unless you're, like, stupid wealthy. You can't own a car because the traffic is so terrible and it costs too much to get around and you're just stuck in traffic all the time. It's just, like, such a cramped area. I feel like for someone like me who kind of grew up in a bit of a rural area with some options for hiking, you know what I mean? It's like I want to be around people, but I also want to like be free at the same time. Miss Molly with the 5 says, come to Wisconsin, though. Cheese and me. Miss Molly, what about you? Covered in cheese. It's the 5G. Was it the 5G before the concrete, or does the concrete have 5G in it? What about 5G cheese? Does the 5G melt the cheese? B-Busta collab. Yes, me and B-Busta did collab on a more recent Australian stories that you can find probably not that long ago. I don't know how long ago it was. Real estate in Texas is super cheap. Nice. He managed to make me feel like somehow even my best friends cared less about me because they didn't seem to want to talk to me. He made me feel more alone while still talking to me for hours a day. A few months into our friendship, I started to notice how superficial he was with me. He knew or knows so much about me, but he was very good at avoiding telling me anything about himself. He made a few comments, and I thought he was being abused or something. I thought he didn't tell me anything because of that, but he started becoming different to me, and I realized that maybe that's not the case. He started asking me questions like, if you had to choose between me and your dad, who would you choose? Or, what about between me and your dogs? I obviously chose my family because I had only known him for months. We were only friends anyway. It's not like he was my boyfriend or husband. I don't know why he was expecting a different response than the one I gave him. He also, around this time, started doing something that irritated me beyond measure. He began hooking up with random people he'd meet at bars and stuff, but after hooking up with them, he thought that they were... Oops. Sucker Punch with the 5 says, Fiesta is basically just an excuse to be drunk at noon for a week straight. Lamau, I think he'd have fun. Real Vegas energy. Nice. Huh. Thank you for the 5. Yeah, you know, I'm ready for just society to open the fuck up and everyone. Can you imagine if it just did tomorrow, like how incredibly insane everyone would get? The second that it does, I feel like it's just gonna be like the most booming insanity out of nowhere, you know? Everyone's just gonna be like fucking raging in the streets, not giving a motherfuck. Am I scared of my stories? Not, I don't think so. But I guess it's just because I've read so many. What's a good beer to pair with aged cheddar? What do you guys think? A stout? He began hooking up with random people he'd meet in bars and stuff, but after hooking up with them, he thought that they were loose and easy. I told him he was being a hypocrite because he was doing the same thing, but he told me that I was wrong because girls who hook up with people are such and such, and since he's a guy, it doesn't apply to him. After arguing for a while about this, I saw it wasn't going anywhere. I chose to ignore his immature attitude and assume that maybe there was a cultural or language-based barrier that prevented us from fully understanding what the other one was talking about. My strange interactions with him began to increase rapidly. He would always ask if I was around family, and if I was, he wanted me to move away from them when I talked to him. I thought this was very weird, as he's met my family, but I also was in quarantine and was lonely. I didn't want to risk losing a friend. I would go to my room whenever I wanted to talk to him. At this point in time, when I was talking to him, he would often interject saying things like, "Did I ask? Why would or should I care? Or shut up, I literally don't care." I told him I didn't like that, and he would always reply saying it was a joke, and he was that way with all of his friends. I was beginning to feel really uncomfortable and pathetic every time he called. It was stupid how much I let him get under my skin. He made comments about how well he knew me and that he knew so much about me. The worst part is that he wasn't wrong. Sometimes we were chatting for up to 8 hours a day. We were watching movies together over Zoom, discussing random things all the time, and he was sometimes even chatting with various members of my family and friends. At one point he got really brave. He started telling me in vivid details dreams that he had had about me. He made comments about imagining me on top of him, sitting on certain parts of his body, and him doing things to me in his dreams. I feel like I should say this so that it's a little bit clearer why this was weird for me. Even though I'm in my 20s, not saying how old for anonymity reasons, I've never had a boyfriend before. I never had my first kiss before. I'm a virgin. I felt dirty with him saying these things to me, so I expressed that with him, but I feel like that encouraged him. He seemed to enjoy me that way too much. Multiple times, he decided to go over his sort of intimate dreams he had for me. I felt like this was weird, but I've never been in a relationship like that before, so I started wondering if maybe I was wrong that behavior was weird. I called a friend who moved to a different state for college and asked her about it. She told me it was strange and I should cut things off. Deep down, I agreed with her, but I wasn't sure how to end it. He was really intertwined with my life. He was also one of the only people my age I had consistent contact with. I didn't want to lose the only person who was actually talking to me. I didn't want to be alone. So I ironically put up with all of his odd behaviors towards me. Oh, fuck. Yeah, this guy sucks. I wonder if any... Is the person who wrote this story in the chat right now? Do I have any personal scary stories? I don't think so. I mean, I've talked about, like, fucking sleep paralysis stuff, but nothing too cray-cray. Poutine has arrived. Uh-oh. It's like French fries and gravy, right? So I ironically put up with all of his odd behaviors towards me. Whenever my phone rang and I saw his name, my stomach fell into the pit of my butt. My stomach would feel the same way it feels to smell vomit. I wasn't sure about how to process everything happening in our friendship. I was putting up with a lot, and I think I hit a point where I started feeling responsible. I put myself into this position, and if I leave, he has other means of access to me. I connected him to everyone in my life. I gave him easy access to me, and he knows everyone in my life. He knows my address, and he has friends connected to me through the school that I go to and the church that I attend. I did this to myself. I trapped myself here, and now I have to put up with it. I didn't cut him off and let things progress. He started asking me to send him pictures. He wanted to picture my face every day, and he wanted me to send him pictures of me in the shower and in the bath. Instead, I started sending him pictures of cute K-pop idols as a joking way to avoid his requests, and this made him angry. He would call me multiple times a day at ridiculously late hours, and if I didn't pick up his calls, he'd spam call me and message me. I started getting short with him and picking up calls asking what do you want, or why are you calling me like 3 a.m.? And he hated that. He said that he didn't like that I was becoming a meaner person. He said I was hurting his feelings, and I, again, dumbly felt bad and thought that maybe I really was the one in the wrong. I don't know when all of these things started happening, but he also began making awful comments when he was upset with me. He was wishing that I would be killed. He started asking creepy questions about my sister, who was a minor. He often made comments about my mouth and the things he wanted to do to it. I told him he wouldn't get my permission, and he said that he would do it without my permission. He asked more than once, something along the lines of, if I were to grab you and kiss you, and insert various public locations here, what would you do to me? Do you want to kiss me? He would also tell me about how he wanted to hurt some of his innocent peers. He would beat up some of his classmates for entertainment without them previously doing anything to actually upset him. He claimed to just like hurting people. He started asking me to pucker my lips at him like I was kissing him through the FaceTime camera, and if he managed to make me feel terrible enough, he was sometimes able to get me to do it. We FaceTimed so often that at one point I accidentally flashed my bra, and another time I was wearing shorts and accidentally flashed my cheeks. He brought these up all of the time. He talked about how squishy my butt looked and the things that he wanted to do. I fell asleep a few times during our FaceTimes, and he claimed that in one of them, I moved and he was able to even see my bare chest. He told me that he screenshotted it. Even now, I don't know how many screenshots he actually has of me and whether or not he actually has a picture of that, but there's so much more, and I don't know how to organize a year's worth of this stuff in my head. I'm going abroad soon to a school near his house. He knows that I'm going there, and he knows when I will be arriving for and how long I'll be there. I'm paranoid. I finally briefly skimmed over a few incidents to my parents, and they convinced me to block him, and I'm scared of being murdered or worse once I get there. It's my dream to study abroad, and I want to work on my fluency in the language, but he threatened me more than once. He's a fighter for fun. He loves violence. But now I'm stuck with the consequences of making friends with a stranger online. I'm not sure what to do. I bought a keychain that doubles as a self-protection stick, but I'm also worried. That sounded weird. What do you guys think of this story? Is it worth including, or... No Hawk? Yeah, where's Hawk at? Squawk! Squawk 6 here. He's Squawk 1. Who's Squawk 2? Am I Squawk 2? And who wants to be Squawk 3, Squawk 4, Squawk 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to Squawk 69? Or actually Squawk 506, since it's how many we got in the chat. I've considered cutting off all of my hair and dyeing it, wearing a hat, mask, and sunglasses every time I'm out, and even wearing tons of clothes, hiding in crowds, and never going anywhere by myself while I'm there. But I'm not sure what to do. What do you do in this situation? How do I, a short, unathletic, and somewhat naive girl, manage to avoid and or get away from a guy who believes he's entitled to my time? How do I stay safe when he, a tall, athletic, and violent guy, knows so much about me, possibly has photos of me, and will be living next door to my campus? If you have any advice for me, please let me know. I'm planning on posting these on a few subreddits because I'm hoping for some input from various communities. I'm not paying for therapy, but instead I'm asking for advice. Does anyone have advice on how I should handle this situation? Squawk 6. Squawk 69. That's his rap name. Tree Flesh, what's up? We were just starting, that was story 2. We were going to be starting story 69 or 3 here soon. Restraining order. That'd be funny, like whenever SpongeBob does the rainbow, but it says restraining order. Restraining order. You know, it's kind of crazy. Sometimes, if my neck is really stiff from, like, you know, whenever you do like power cleans and shit like that, you kind of have to use your traps a lot, which like translates to your neck muscles and other bullshit. Join the Marines, no thanks. Like, when you pull, sometimes your like neck gets sore, and then I didn't realize how like tight my neck actually was, to the point where like up this left side of my head, I would have like just like isolated headaches, and I was like, I don't know, I feel like I'm starting to become like a hypochondriac, so like every headache in my head I'm like, holy shit, I got a brain tumor. You're watching a lot of SpongeBob lately, Lila. Nice. SpongeBob ain't bad, baby. SpongeBob ain't bad. You want to come to my mansion? Sure. I just gotta buy it first. Who's ready for Cyberpunk? Yeah, that should be sick. I'm trying to go into Cyberpunk with like minimal fucking spoilers. So I'm almost thinking like maybe I should buy it as soon as it comes out so nobody fucking ruins it for me. How long am I streaming for? Well, till I'm done with these stories, which we got like 7 left. So I think we'll be going for a bit. Evie, welcome, welcome. Do I like anime or manga? You know, I used to like it more in the past. I just don't I don't read manga or mangoes. But and I don't really watch anime either, but I like the idea of it, and I mean, you know, that's all I can really say. It's like I like the idea of it. I just don't watch them. Is Cyberpunk a video game? Yeah, Cyberpunk's like a futuristic. It's made by the people that made Witcher. Was it Red Studios? I forget, but it's supposed to be pretty sick nasty. The God of Pez with the 5 says, "What are you having for dinner? I demand details in a non-weird manner. I think I'm gonna do nachos." Well, I didn't eat much today because I didn't work out. I've been thinking because as soon as as soon as I stopped doing CrossFit, when I was doing CrossFit, I was like 190, I think, ish, you know. And then now that I only do just like powerlifting within a very short period of time, I went from like 190 to like I'm like close to 220 right now on like a 5'10" frame. And I guess it's kind of hard to tell. Maybe it's like mainly in my booty. I don't know. But I think it was mainly just because like we would lift maybe not quite as equally hard doing the CrossFit bullshit, but I think I just burned a lot more calories doing that. And now that I'm not like, burning as many calories, my body was just able to like accrue mass a lot faster. I don't fucking know, but yeah, chunky, yeah, thick boy. But it feels good because after gaining, starting like, I don't know, there's a lot more satisfaction I find in like power or like just lifting heavy weights. You just get stronger and bigger, you know what I mean? It's just, it feel good, whereas CrossFit's just like a lot of like repetitious, CrossFit's like a lot of like repetitious movements that can kind of like take its toll on your back and your shoulders and stuff. And it's not to say that, any sort of exercise in my book, as long as you're safe, is good exercise. But, you just got to do what makes you, stay active, but, do what makes you feel satisfied. Please don't get mad, but do you think life is worth living? I have the urge to hurt myself. Please don't get mad, Mr. Let's Read. Yes, life is definitely worth living. Mainly just because it's like, I guess objectively, you're here, you might as well experience it. I always kind of thought if I ever found myself in like a really, really, really low position, basically and maybe I'm thinking, this isn't a very emotional response or anything, but like, basically it's like, if you're in a really, really low spot, that just means that all you can really do from there is go up. So honestly, try fucking anything. Try exercising, try a new social club, try a new hobby, dig into your spiritual self, whatever that might be. Even just go on a fucking hike or something every day for 20 minutes a day. Listen to like motivational shit on YouTube. Like Jordan Peterson is really good. He's a really inspirational guy. And there's a ton of, I'm sure you guys probably have a ton of inspirational people on YouTube you can listen to, but it's like life is definitively worth living. I know it can be really hard lately where, a lot of the societal sort of implications are that you should just not go outside and isolate yourself for the remainder of time, but it's different depending on where you're at. But as long as you take those precautions, like life can still be lived, I feel. And yeah, Joel Def sells feet pics. Yeah, that was a good transition. Sindri Ardal with the 1500 ISK. What are the ISKs? Sorry. People are from so many different places in the world. It's crazy. Let's see. 1500. It's 12 US dollars. Nice. Thank you so much, Sindri. Thank you for the Icelandic krona equal. We got a lot of people from Scandinavia areas, which is really neat. And Ricardo Bonilla has become a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersaw cult. I've tested out the notifications for the members, and it works on the page that when you test it on OBS, but for some reason it like doesn't notify me. And thank you, Ricardo. Thank you for becoming a member. You are welcome. Sexercising, yeah. Yeah, multi-career man, therapist, YouTuber, feet pick seller, registered nurse, you know. I've been selling feet picks since definitely before nursing, you know. How do you know my name is Joel? Oh yeah, I mean, I've been streaming for a long time. I mean, people have asked me, you know, what my name is, and I say it's Joel, so that's how they know it. That's usually how you know someone's name. They ask and you tell them. School Vikings. We've got lots of Vikings here. Oh, the new Assassin's Creed's about Vikings. Yeah, anybody play that? Lila, if you donated $1,500, I would beat you up. That's your reward. Getting choked out. Just kidding. Back when I was 6 or 7, my uncle ended his own life, and my mom took it really hard. She had a drinking problem before this, but she became a full-blown alcoholic after. My mom has always been a mean drunk, and I'm still dealing with the trauma from the things she said and did while I was growing up. As you can imagine, my parents fought a lot because of this. I never knew how bad it had gotten, but I could still tell it was bad. My dad was staying at his parents' house, and my 2 to 3-year-old sister and I were still living at our house with our mom. When I talked to my dad about this a few years ago, he told me that he was in contact with an attorney at that time because the marriage was breaking down, and he was going to fight with all he had to get us away from her because she was by no means fit to take care of us. One night, I was in my room watching something on television, and my sister was asleep in her room when I suddenly hear my dad yelling and my mom throwing up. I was confused because my dad wasn't supposed to be at the house since neither of them could stand to be around each other, but I had learned that it was best to stay in my room when they were fighting, so I didn't go out to see what was happening. Things were quiet for a little bit before my dad burst in my room, holding my sister, and told me that we needed to go to my aunt's house because she was going to watch for us for a while. Fuck. Joel secretly has my OnlyFans where he shows off his wet workout socks and crusty feet, yes. Yes. Lila, no, you keep that. Do not give me... Even if you were to have those funds available, please keep that for yourself. The only people allowed to donate that much need to be fucking Markiplier. Or Video Game Donkey. Or somebody, I don't even... Or now Corpse Husband, since he's ascended to YouTube godhood. You guys leaked my name through stalking. You forgot I was live and the sudden stop freaked me out, lol. That's funny. That's good. It means you were immersed. Can you buy my sweaty workout socks? There was like, I posted a meme where like some creepy guy in the park bought some girl's socks or whatever, and then it like cuts to him like sitting on the bench like sniffing them, you know? And but it was so funny because the one thing that people noticed wasn't the fact that he was like a creepy guy buying, you know, a girl's socks or whatever, but the fact that her arms were so hairy. They're like, is that a dude? But and then that made me notice. I was like, wow, those are some hairy ass arms. But you know, I don't know, hairy arms on girls, like that never, like, I've talked about this before, I think, but it's never been like something that I looked at as like uneffeminate, you know, like non-girlish or whatever, you know. I mean, I guess to the, if you look like an ape, you know, it might be questionable or whatever, but most of the time I just think it looks normal, you know, just like a normal you know, mammal, I suppose. Lila with the 3 says, okay, here's your $1,500. We'll just do it $1,500 over like a lifetime. How's that sound? So I can keep you for the long haul. Hairy armpits. It is kind of interesting. Like, at what point in like human history, where was people were they like, okay, girls, grow your hair out super long, but shave your armpits and your legs and every other part of yourself. You know, like, I don't know, like we're at what point does like hair, was hair decided that it can only be on certain spots of, a particular gender? It just seems weird. Do I like apes, Joel? I think apes are cool, like as far as their ability to like throw bananas and poop and stuff like that. If you're single, you just leave your hair alone. But then, yeah, like what made a guy like? I mean, like obviously you see guys with long hair, but it's just weird to think like what? But yeah, at what point did they decide a guy is supposed to have short hair? When capitalism. Yes, when people started buying and selling goods to one another, that's when it was decided. In the Illuminati. When women started wearing less clothes. You know what? There's got to be a reason to this. There's got to be. I mean, everything has an answer, right? Someone look that up. Someone dig deep into the creamy holes of Google and find that out. Yeah, my real name is Let's. Let Us. I've just lost all of my Hairsuit chick fans. Yeah, just just braid your happy trail. Things were quiet for a little bit before my dad burst in my room holding my sister and told me that we needed to go to my aunt's house because she was going to watch us for a while. Again, I thought it was odd because it was probably about 10 p.m. and we never went to anyone's house that late, but I went nonetheless. When we got to the car, my mom was strapped to the front seat, limp as a rag doll, with her mouth hanging open slightly and her eyes glassy and kind of rolled back while she made odd noises. I asked what was wrong with Mommy, and Dad just said she was sick and he was going to take her to the doctors and that's why we needed to go to my aunt's house. I was worried about my mom, but I knew she would be okay if my dad was taking her to the doctors to make her feel better. So I got in my spot and put on my seatbelt while my dad put my sister in her car seat. I remember Dad driving really fast, a lot faster than he usually does, but Mommy was sick, so it made enough sense to me. We got to my aunt's house in record time, and my aunt took my sister and I inside while my dad got my mom out of the car and carried her into the house and placed her in the chair nearest the door. I remember my dad asking, "Have you called them? How long did they say it would take before they got here?" And my aunt assuring him that she had taken care of it and it wouldn't be long now. I wasn't sure what they were talking about, but I didn't really care to ask because my mom looked even worse than she did in the car and I was really worried about her and not whatever they were talking about. My aunt and my sister and I... Oops. You'll buy my toe knuckle hair so you can put it... intertwine our toe knuckles. Vixa, that's okay. No worries. My aunt took my hair... Fuck, sorry. Now I'm in the hair mind. Who has a full quarantine bush? Lol. My aunt took my sister and I into a back bedroom and turned on the TV before telling us that she would be back in a minute and leaving. I was too curious and worried to stay put, so I left my sister in the room and walked into the kitchen that was adjoined to the living room where everyone else was pacing around and my dad was contemplating putting my mom back in the car and driving her there myself. Fuck, why am I messing this up? That's a long-ass sentence to mess up. Fuck, dude. I was too curious and worried to stay put, so I left my sister in the room and walked into the kitchen that was adjoined to the living room where everyone else was pacing around and my dad was contemplating putting my mom back in the car and driving her there himself. I figured he just meant the doctor's office that we usually go to. After a few minutes, I saw flashing lights outside and my dad ran out. He came back in with some emergency personnel and they started checking my mom's vitals. He looked out the open door and saw an ambulance, and that's when I started to get really scared and started crying because I knew enough to know that if an ambulance showed up, something really bad was happening. That's when my dad, my aunt, and the paramedics noticed that I was there, and my aunt took me back into the back bedroom and told me that I wasn't allowed to leave there until she came back. It felt like forever, but eventually things quieted down and my aunt came back. She explained that Mommy had accidentally taken too many pain pills because her back was hurting, and she had forgotten that she had already taken some before. She said that too many pain pills can make you very sick, so Mommy had to go to the hospital and Dad was going with her and we would be staying there that night. I was already a little ball of anxiety at that age, thanks genetics, so I was super freaked out. My aunt did her best to assure me that the doctors would make everything okay and that I didn't have to worry. She gave my sister and I popsicles and let us watch TV as late as we wanted. The next morning, she told me that she had heard from my dad and that Mommy was doing better, but we would be staying with her for at least another night. She then took my sister and I to pick up some strawberry milk, pretty much the only thing my sister would consume without a fight at that time, and to get me breakfast at McDonald's because their pancakes and bacon was my all-time favorite thing. The rest of the day was pretty much a blur, and I'm sure it was filled with cartoons and coloring. The next day was a Monday, but I didn't have to go to school like I normally would have, and my dad came and picked us up in the afternoon. Mom was home when we got there, and Dad started staying at the house again. Everything just kind of went back to normal after that, except Mom would only drink on the weekends from then on. She'd still get drunk, but there were fewer arguments because she would stay down on the couch those nights and my dad would be in their room with the doors locked. No one ever brought up the incident again, but it stuck with me ever since. In my late teens, I was eating dinner with my dad at some fast food place because Mom and my sister were doing something else, and I finally brought it up. I said, "Hey, remember that time when I was 6 or 7 and Mom accidentally took too many pain pills?" He stopped eating and went a little pale before answering in the affirmative. I said, "It wasn't an accident, huh?" He sighed and said that he had really hoped that I had forgotten about that since I was so young and didn't know what was going on, but then confirmed my suspicion. I told him that not only had I not forgotten, but I can still remember what pajamas I was wearing that night, color and pattern and all. Light blue Lizzie McGuire pajamas with long dark blue sleeves, a picture of the animated Lizzie on the front with red and dark blue stars all over the pants. As stated before, the marriage was breaking down, and Dad was living with his parents as he prepared for an ugly divorce. That night my mom tried to take her own life by overdosing on pills that she had from a surgery, but got scared when they started to really take effect and called my dad. He flew over to the house as fast as he could and started yelling at my mom for doing something like this while he held her hair back as she vomited up. Oh, holy shit. It's a long-ass story. Scary, though. I remember I had a friend in high school who tried to do that, and that was... I don't know, that was really weird. He's okay now, but, I don't know. It's just crazy, like, whenever people kind of find themselves at some really, really low lows and get to that point and you don't even realize it, you know? He flew over to the house as fast as he could and started yelling at my mom for doing something like this while he held her hair back as she vomited up as many of the pills as she could. He then got her into the car and called my aunt to tell her what was happening, and that we were on our way because he needed someone to watch us and that she needed to call 911 so that the paramedics would meet us there. Her house was about halfway between our house and the near hospital. After that, he got us into the car. Oh shit. Ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, ooh. Micah Washington with the $30 Reno says, "Hi, my Joel. I've become a do-it-yourself queen, so I'm casting resin molds with my daughter for Xmas. We're doing everything from jewelry to phone stands to dollhouses and more. I got her into listening to narrators so we could do it together. Oh, that's awesome. I think it. Sorry if it cut your message off there, but I at least got to the together part. But thank you so much, Mike, and that's so cool. I think those kind of like hobbies, and especially if they lead to like being able to like sell stuff, is pretty wild. So, and the fact that you get to do that with family is even better. So thank you, thank you, thank you. That's awesome. I do like that, people have my either streams or, the narrations going while they're like kind of doing something else. It lets me subconsciously seep into their minds. You want me to practice my beatboxing? You like that? You feel it now, Mr. Krabs. Do you feel it now, Mr. Krabs? After that, he got us into the car and sped all the way to my aunt's house. My dad followed the ambulance in his car and spent the whole time I was at my aunt's house at the hospital. When my mom was stable and awake, they had a serious conversation about where they went from there. He was unbelievably angry that she would do such a thing while we were alone with her in the house. What if she didn't call him and actually succeeded in taking her own life? One of us would have woken up and found our mother's dead body. Did she even stop to think what that would have done to us? He minced no words in telling her how angry he was and that if she ever decided to pull something like this again, it had better not be with us around. Once that was out of his system, they talked things out and decided to try and reconcile, which did end up happening since they're still together since they're still together today. It's like a tongue twister. I'm glad they got together, though. Yum, athlete's foot. Your teeth came up weird? What do you mean? Spitting fire. Fire, man. Once that was out of his system, they talked things out and decided to try and reconcile, which did end up happening since they're still together today. Again, it's not as bad as some of the others, but I'm 26 now, and that is still the sharpest memory I have of my childhood, and likely contributed heavily to the fact that for years afterward, I had to know where everyone was at all times so I could check on them whenever I felt like I needed to, and I would scream and cry hysterically if I couldn't find one of them. I still think about it from time to time, and it never fails to bring back that feeling of dread that I felt when I saw the ambulance that night. You can twist your tongue around me, my friend. Anyone selling toenail clippings, she's hungry. Jesus Christ. Imagine those sprinkled on an ice cream. Yikes, yucky. Okay, so this one's... That was a sad story. I guess all these are sad stories are kind of sad a little bit. Yeah, sticking it out for the kids. Pretty impressive, honestly. It's just crazy to think that you can, obviously, sex can happen where you don't have to love each other and you can make a kid. But, it's weird to think that some people can love each other so much and then it just, devolve into some type of insanity, where each party just absolutely loathes the other one. I can kind of understand where that happens, but it's strange to think, how that gets to that point, Nikki, I understand where you're coming from as far as not judging that person. I can totally, because it's I'm not them. I can't choose that, but in a similar fashion, it's kind of just it more has to do with the negative energy that it leaves, the negative effect it has on your family and your friends. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because sometimes some people's suicides end up leading to another person's suicides. Such is the case of this mother was greatly affected by her brother's suicide, which affected her relationships and, led her down the path to take her life with those drugs, and then she regretted it. And, imagine what would have happened to that author of that story if they would have, if you would have been a kid and you come across your parent dead, like from suicide, like that doesn't not fuck you up. Even if you're like a grown adult that's already knows how to deal with like crisis, it doesn't not destroy you. You don't live the rest of your life the same. You know what I mean? Suicide is not good. How many stories of the night? There's 10 total, but that was just 3 we've made it through thus far. And it's been almost 2 hours. But it is only 9 o'clock, so that's when I almost like normally would stop. I appreciate that, but we're not their responsibility. No, I feel you. I feel you. I think when it comes to like, it just depends on who it happens to. Like, well, I feel like we kind of are, the responsibility to a degree. We're all kind of individual, like especially within family, we're all sort of mildly responsible for each other to a certain sense. Especially children, for sure. The kids are definitively our responsibility, Rosie says suicide in the family is catastrophic. My sister committed suicide and all kinds of messed up thoughts, feelings come out. This happened during my chemo treatment. Sucks. Life is messed up. Yeah, it's. And there was a subscriber here who's talked about like her mother taking her life and just how much that's affected her. Just devastating, just beyond devastating. Because it's kind of just like you never really have a certain sense of closure, because life itself is very confusing, and death can happen, but when it happens and it's not in your control, you can kind of like deal with that, understanding that there was nothing you could do. But when it comes to someone taking their life, it's almost like every day you kind of wonder to yourself, without that closure, if there was anything that you could have done to prevent that, and then it kind of just like lingers with you forever, which who knows where those negative thoughts can, and those sort of demons can lead. But it's sad either way. Fucking sucks, man. Honestly, if you guys ever are in the position, please do join the Discord, just on the sheer aspect of having another human being to talk to, because I know right now it can be very lacking in the social department, so feel free to join and just chat, Micah Washington with the 5 says, well, she heard you read the message and wanted to say, hi, Rhea Jade, please. It's pronounced Rhea. Thanks, we love it. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Was there a... Wait a second. Oh, yeah, because I don't know if that cut off your message in the beginning, but I don't know if it was... I don't know if it initially included the name in there, but either way, thank you. And yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so my dad grew up in a small town called Lubango, southwestern Angola. Okay, how do you say Lubango? Okay, Forvo. Once again, thanks for whoever showed me Forvo, because that thing's pretty fucking cool. Lubango. No pronunciations. Shit. Lubango. No. Yeah, wait. Pronounce. Let's see.
Lubango.
Lubango. It's probably Lubango, you'd imagine, right? It sounds like a pronunciation. Get yourself a sheep, bruh. I think it'd be cool to have like a goat or something like that, just as a pet in your yard. I'm gonna do these. What's the random hey listen in the back? Yeah, so if someone donates, that's like the donation notification. It would say like, hey, listen. Joel, my boyfriend and I are adopting our first cat together. What weed strain name should we name him after? Oh God, what's the maybe like Maui Wowie? That'd be funny. His name was Maui and Wowie. Maui Wowie. That sounds like a cat name, actually. Maybe. I mean, obviously you can name it. What do you guys think? What weed strain? What are the other ones? There's like Lemonade Tingles. I don't fucking know. Just walking my alpaca. That'd be fun. Pradeep 2.0. Name it Kush or Kush. Sativa. Sativa would be good. Kefir. Meowsers. Can Ahmad please send you the Discord link? Yeah, for sure. Someone can link you there, I'm sure. Meow Zedong would be kind of funny. Sour Diesel, yeah. Cat Piss, there you go. Bubba Kush. Purple Haze. Lemonade Tingles. Joel sounds Filipino. The name Joel sounds Filipino? Maybe. I know some aren't like some aspects of Filipino language, well, the name Joel I think is like Hebrew in origin, but I think it was also used in like the Spanish language, which I think traveled to the Philippines to a degree, or there's some influence there in the Philippines, I'm not sure though. Indica, Sir Lancelot, Just Haze. Bob the Cat, there you go. Just name him 420. Stardog. A cat named Stardog, that'd be hilarious. Oh, Pineapple Express, that's the one, but I don't know why I'm still partial to Maui Wowie. Sup, Toonami. So my dad grew up in a small town, Lubang. Oh, fuck. I swear I'm like dyslexic with my reading sometimes. I just skip words. Gotta go watch tutorial on how to wrap Christmas presents. Nice. Lots of Joels in England. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a name that's pretty widespread. The United States, Western countries, really Eastern countries. As long as they have like the English alphabet, you're probably gonna see it. Blaze, Bud, Callie, Daisy. Hazy Daisy. So my dad grew up in a small town called Lubang. Sorry, I don't know why that sounds so weird. So my dad grew up in a small town called Lubango in southwestern Angola. He was born in 1961 and, as a child, spent most of his time in the dry, open land, playing with friends and hunting with his father. Now, this story takes place on the 29th of December 1983 when my dad was 22 years old. At this point in life, he was working for a petrol company, driving a petrol tanker around the town to various petrol stations. Now, this day started as any other, usual pickups here and there. At one particular station, however, he parked the tanker and headed inside the station for the newspaper and a possible cigarette if he was lucky. My dad was familiar with all the different station clerks, and stepping inside this one, he was expecting to see the usual shopkeeper, Roy. But there was no one running the till. My dad assumed he was in the toilet cubicle, so he went to grab a paper. It was one from the week prior, which satisfied my dad enough. Living in Lumbango during the Civil War, it was incredibly rare to actually get a newspaper even close to the correct date. My dad was no stranger to the Civil War raging in his country, but he tried to avoid conversation about it as it just made him upset. Unfortunately, this was borderline impossible, considering it was the only excitement the old men in the town experienced. Anyway, upon reading the headline on the newspaper, South Africa Troops Retreat After Devastating Attack, my dad placed the newspaper where it previously lay and scanned the desk for cigarettes. He spotted some rolling paper laid out across the desk with a sprinkle of tobacco sat inside. My dad figured that Roy had started to roll a cigarette when something else had come up. He decided to wait for Roy to come back while he flicked through the collection of newspapers built up on the desk. After 10 long minutes, my dad decided to carry on with his job and just believed Roy had... Oops. Name a cat Poggers. Poggers, dude. He decided to wait for Roy to come back while he flicked through the collection of newspapers built up on the desk. After 10 long minutes, my dad decided to carry on with his job and just believed Roy had gone on a long walk or something. He was walking to his tanker as the sound of plane propellers filled the sky. This wasn't unseen, but it was rather unusual in Lumbongo. So my father decided to lean against the cab of his big rig and watch the plane soar by. My dad was so sad to see the juxtaposition of those destructive army planes with the backdrop of the beautiful Angolan sky. The planes were flying low over the Lumbongo military base, and my dad concluded that they were 2 planes landing in the base after a battle of some sorts. My dad's wondrous expression turned to curiosity as he saw 2 small black dots drop from the bottom of the planes. As the dots fell, my dad's face turned to dread as he watched the 2 planes fly far away. A loud explosion rattled his ears, and he fell to the ground in shock. He looked at the fire cloud that surrounded the military base and watched as it crumbled and burnt. He lay watching for half an hour as chaos ensued and around... Oops. Fuck, man, that's scary. Name the cat Ninja. Let's go, Ninja. Let's go. We're going inside. He lay watching for half an hour as chaos ensued in and around his home. Oh, I was going to say village. I don't know why I was going to say village. What's the Discord for? What's any Discord for, really? It's just a community of people who can chat with each other and chill. He lay watching for half an hour as chaos ensued in and around his hometown. That moment was the day Lumbongo fell. Weeks later, they found Roy's body. It had turned out he had gone on a walk and was found by 2 South African soldiers who interrogated him on the spot. He attempted to escape and retaliate and was shot dead in the process. This was a planned attack by the South African Army called Operation Clinker, and it can be found on the internet, although sadly little information is written about it. I think this story is very important for people to hear, as the Angolan Civil War is an event in history that took countless lives and isn't talked about nearly enough. I believe people need to be educated on this historical landmark. I love your videos and we really appreciate if you feature the story in your next one. I really enjoy listening to your stories again in a minute. Nice. Thank you. I think this story is very important for people to hear, as the Angolan Civil War is an event in history that took countless lives and isn't talked about nearly enough. I believe people need to be educated on this historical landmark. Oh, man. Let's see. Angolan Civil War. Let's check it out. The Angolan Civil War. Let's see. I wonder if it has like when it started. Roots of conflict. Wait. Okay. Ethnic divisions, Portuguese colonialism, build up to the independence and rising tensions. Okay, it was something. Micah Washington with the 5. She wanted a personal shout out. She's 5, so hearing you say her name made her so happy. Can you do it one more time? Oh, okay. Rhea Jade. Oh, hello, Rhea Jade. Okay, sorry. I didn't quite understand the last message. It didn't like process in my brain. But thank you so much for the 5. And hello, Rhea Jade. Hope you guys are having a good time this evening. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. So it started in the 1970s? Holy shit. Wow, the Angolan civil war has literally been going on since the 1970s till the 2000s, and the death of Savimbi. That's fucking weird, man. It's weird to think that just like how quickly war can start, you know? It was a Cold War proxy, basically. Cuba intervened too. Yeah, that's pretty wild when you think once war starts, like all of these other factions get involved, you know, because it's like it's either beneficial to them to keep that state in a perpetual state of chaos, or like, you know, acquiring certain resources from that. Essentially, like, you know, it's free real estate. It's free real estate. Why don't I read paranormal stories anymore? I do. They're actually usually in these types of... The first story I actually read kind of seemed paranormal, but it was like just weird, like experimental or something. But I was actually going to read paranormal stories only tonight, but then I realized I don't actually have any paranormal stories lined up in my collection of like ones that I have permission for, so I kind of have to actually now go through and accrue a bunch of them. I do hope to do paranormal soon, though. Pogo in Togo, Coca-Cola in Angola. That's funny. Is that a saying? Alright. Where do I get these stories? These are from my subreddit, reddit.com/r/let's not... Well, no, this one, sorry, I read that wrong. Let's Read Official. But yeah, Let's Not Meet, Let's Read Official, email, Our Paranormal, Creepy Encounters, all sorts of places. Yeah, if I do a paranormal video, which I do hope to, I hope it's probably going to be like maybe like 15 stories in the video, so it's like longer, you know? Y'all would sheet your pants if you saw something. I know people call it fake, but if you saw like ghosts, if you actually saw like apparitions, it wouldn't even matter if like once you typed it out it like didn't sound scary when you read it. That shit fucking makes you poop your pants, like for real. You want to see the demons? I don't think you do, man. I really don't think you do. I think the fact that some people haven't seen demons, they should count the lucky stars. Carla's got me figured out. I'm just a big stoner who doesn't cough after taking a bong rip. So I started high school when I was young, barely 13 years old. I'm a female and now a junior. I didn't think anything about this guy since I wasn't focused on people. I didn't really care about anyone else except 2 friends I had in the classes I had with him. He was 17 at the time, and yes, in those classes the grade levels were mixed. Nothing ever stuck out to me as odd about him, since I rarely paid attention to him, until one day in biology I looked up from my paper and saw him taking pictures of me. I was creeped out, but didn't say anything in case I was wrong. Then days later he found my Instagram and kept texting me, which I obviously never responded to, and if I had to, I would be very dry and just leave him unseen. Then one day in the middle of class, I got a text from a random number saying, "Hey," with my name and various emojis like heart ones, and I immediately knew it was him since earlier he was asking for my number, which I declined to give him. I immediately went to the 2 friends in that class to yell at them for telling him, which they replied, "We never gave it to him." They even showed me their phones and let me go through them and their messages with him, and no number of mine was ever mentioned despite his numerous texts asking for them. I never answered him and desperately tried to avoid him until one day on Instagram I got a text from him saying, "You're so pretty," to which I replied that I wasn't pretty, and then he spammed me with pictures that he had taken of me. And that wasn't even the creepiest part. There were like 50 plus pictures of me, ranging from classes, around the school campus, and even outside of school, like near the bus stop or waiting for a friend at the quad to go somewhere. There was even some of me playing soccer with friends on the football field. It's used for soccer too, since the soccer fields get flooded easily and constantly is getting fixed to look pretty. Obviously, I left him on scene, blocked him, and avoided him even more, to the point I started skipping class. And when I did go, I told the teacher what happened while I was shaking. Sorry, that sounded too casual. Synthetic Cacophony, is that a band? Kinetic Symphony. Obviously, I left him on scene, blocked him, and avoided him even more, to the point that I started skipping class. And when I did go, I told the teacher what happened while I was shaking, and she let me go to the dean of the school, where I showed them everything and even gave them the number I got the message from. It's been 2 years. I'm a junior now. Stayed in the schools since they have connections to a hospital I want to volunteer in, and because I have great friends there. And he's made new accounts on everything. Instagram, Snapchat, and probably got a new number, and he has been trying to follow me and message me for weeks now. I keep blocking him, but new accounts are created. I'm honestly glad for quarantine, since I would probably be nervous to go to class or even school. It's also worth mentioning that it's still not known how he got my number, as the only 2 people who had it never gave it to him, and I'm 100% sure that he was following me around school, even after I told the dean. It's weird. It's weird to think that that kid, like, would think taking pictures and saying creepy shit and message. Like, it's weird to think that people do this creepy shit and think that it's gonna, like, work out. You know what I mean? Like, that, like, no one in their life has ever told them, like, hey, man, probably shouldn't take, like, 50 plus pictures of that girl from afar in your class. Kind of weird. But I guess, you know, sometimes maybe they just never heard that before. We are on story number 6. I should put like a number up on, like, I don't even know, the top left or some shit. Like a 6 out of 10 or like a something out of something, so we all that, because that question gets asked a lot. Are we all in the PlayStation 5000? Yeah, we're all living in a PlayStation 5000 right now. The annoying thing to me about we live in a simulation theory is that you wouldn't even know what a fucking simulation is unless we have created ourselves a simulation. You know what I mean? So it's this, you know, because I'm sure the same people that say we live in a simulation are probably the same ones that 1,000 years ago were not saying we live in a simulation because they didn't know how to explain it. So they just said, like, we live in a book that's being written, you know, or maybe back in like 1920s or something, we live in a movie, you know, like. I just don't, like, there's no science to say what is the science that says we live in a simulation? Like, what would indicate to anyone that what we're existing in right now is anything more than what we're experiencing? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people, like, always say that as if though it's like some sort of, like, impressive perspective, but I feel like you need to elaborate more on that theory of, like, we live in a simulation, because outside of getting high and watching, like, a YouTube video and coming up with that theory, it's like, I don't know, it's like me saying that we're all just, like, sitting on, like, you know, a nut that was pooped out of a dog, you know. It's really not that exciting. For a good time, call up and ask Elon Musk. Elon Musk, everything I say is very interesting. And Alexandra with a 5 says, "Hey Joel, can you sing me happy birthday? Love you." Oh shit, it's your birthday. Damn. Is it? Wait, what day is it? I thought your birthday was Thursday, or this coming Thursday. Well, yeah, let's sing happy birthday. Let's, fuck it. Let's get the happy birthday song on. We won't get copyrighted for that, I don't think. Happy birthday remix, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Ninja. Trap. There's so many. I knew there was gonna be so many options. Yo. Happy birthday. Oh fuck. Oh no, I guess it's gonna start. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. It's fucking happy birthday, bitch. Let's go. Let's go. It's your motherfucking birthday. Happy motherfucking birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy motherfucking birthday. Happy birthday. I don't want a fucking birthday. I want a fucking dead day. Just kidding. To you. To you. Oh God, I don't even know. I feel like that song should have been way shorter. Yo, we turned up in her. We turned and squirnt. Happy motherfucking birthday. Happy birthday, Alexandra. The goatess rapper. Your birthday's on Friday, gonna turn 16 now. You can drive for coffee. Oh, nice, yeah. Don't you get your learner's permit like at 15 and a half? Or when do you get that? I forget. A Die Antwood reference. I don't think so. Maybe I accidentally did, but I've heard of Die Antwood, but I've never listened. Well, I think I've listened to some of their stuff, but not often. You're not looking forward to turning 25? Honestly, I would just, for the remainder of your 20s, and probably the remainder of your 30s, and maybe the remainder of your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100s, until you become 100 years old, I would just be happy to be alive, you know? Yeah, I think you get your license at 16, like officially, and if you've been training and stuff like that, you can get it. Learner's permit at 21? That seems way late. Depends on the state. When are we going to get more war stories? Well, I did just read an Angolan. You're halfway to death. You're going to die at 50, Jensen. Not likely, Mr. Man. You'd like to live to 120. I feel like if someone does live to 120, that'd be so weird to live to 120 and just think like, imagine you were like 8 years old and your grandma turned 100 and you were just like, what the fuck? And then she lived for another 20 years and you were like 28 and you're like, yo, my grandma lived to be 120. She did not die. She did not want to die at all. Dun 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 dun. Aight, let's get it. Let's get it. So I'm a 21-year-old male, and this experience happened last summer while I was on vacation at Myrtle Beach with my family. We were staying in a resort right on the beach, and we're on the 13th or 14th floor in a sort of timeshare. One night I was feeling restless and having a hard time falling asleep, and at around 3 a.m., I decided to go out on the balcony to get some air. I stepped out and was stunned as there was a full moon, and the moonlight on the water was really beautiful. The beach was completely empty as far as I could see, and I had never seen it like that before. I decided that since I wasn't able to sleep, I might as well head down, take a stroll, and listen to some music to relax. Hopefully when I returned, I'd be able to get some sleep. It was really unsafe and dumb of me, but since it was 3 a.m. and the rest of my family was asleep, I decided to just head down without letting any of them know I was going, as I thought I would just go and chill there for about 10 to 15 minutes, then come right back up. So at the base of the timeshare we were at, there was an area with a pool, an outdoor bar, and then 2 boardwalks separated by about 100 feet, which both led to the beach. On the sides of the boardwalks, there were swaths of tall grass separating the ocean and the resort. When I got down to the base, the entire area was completely deserted, and I started walking down the boardwalk on the right towards the beach. As I'm walking down, I suddenly see someone approaching me from the beach, which was strange because I had a pretty clear view of this same area from the balcony just before and had literally seen no one. Fuck. I started to take a breath in. My throat is like tickling. Anyone from Alabama? Oh, shit, bro. Okay. Athena, see you later. As I'm walking down, I suddenly see someone approaching me from the beach, which was strange because I had a pretty clear view of the same area from the balcony just before and had literally seen no one. I start to get a bit nervous as I see this figure approach, and as I get closer, I see it as a man, maybe in his late 30s, who has a backpack on and is wearing glasses with large square lenses. As he gets closer, I get a clearer look at him as the boardwalk is sort of illuminated by lights from the outdoor bar. He looks very on edge and alert, almost like he's trying to find someone who's trying to meet him in this area, and his clothes are somewhat tattered. We made eye contact, and I sort of nod at him and pass. At this point, I'm creeped out, because, honest to God, he had a sort of Jeffrey Dahmer look, if he was the glasses, and he just didn't seem like he actually belonged to the timeshare. I shake it off and keep walking down the beach and put my headphones in. As I get down to the beach, I turn right and start walking parallel to the water, and I'm just taking in the scenery. I'm barefoot and decided to be nice to walk just along the shoreline, so I move closer to the water and continue walking. I'm walking for longer than a minute before... Oops. I'm walking for no longer than a minute before I get a really strange feeling that something is wrong. I take off my headphones and turn around, and I see a dark figure that is trailing me just up shore. He is situated in between me and the timeshare. I immediately can tell from the figure's height, body type, and demeanor that it is the same man I passed on the boardwalk. At this point, I'm starting to panic as every story from Let's Not Meet is rushing to my head. At the same time, I'm trying to rationalize as it feels too surreal that I may actually be in a dangerous situation. Maybe I should say, let's read. I feel like that would be funnier. I wish they would have said let's read. That would have been a nicer thing to say for me. 90% sure you've been to this exact same timeshare in Myrtle Beach. Yeah, I wonder how many of them there are. I've never been to Myrtle Beach before. Freya, you heard me mention in another stream in a positive manner. That's cool. What stream was they at? Who's done talking shit? Just kidding. Oh, board stock, Lila. Nice. He's getting board stalked on the boardwalk. If they mention lazy river, you're 100% sure you've been there a few times. Yeah, would Myrtle Beach have a lazy river? At this point, I'm starting to panic, as every story from Let's Read is rushing to my head. At the same time, I'm trying to rationalize, as it feels too surreal that I may actually be in a dangerous situation. So I remind myself it could just be a coincidence, and the man decided he also wanted to take a walk on the beach, and just happened to be headed in the same direction as me. So I take some breaths and turn my head back to the ocean and continue walking in the same direction. After a couple of seconds, I turn my head back again, and seeing that now, he is much closer to me, and is not walking parallel to me, but is definitely actually walking towards me. I picked up my walking speed now and turned my head back around and see he is matching my faster pace and is still walking towards me and the water. Still, for some reason, I think, okay, maybe he also wants to walk by the water. There's no way I'm actually being followed by a creepy man on a deserted beach. So at this point, to truly test it, I do a 180 and completely change directions. And as I turn my head, I see him completely change directions with me and continue closing in distance, and he's power walking now. It suddenly hits me that I'm in a really bad situation, and I take off in a run along the water, and he starts running as well. He stays up shore of me so that if I try to run up towards the boardwalk, he will intercept me. I'm freaking out now and just keep running with no plan, but figured that since I'm 20 and sort of fit, I should probably be able to keep running along the water and outrun him, and then find some other exit off the beach and either call my family or head back to the timeshare on the road. So I keep running, but he's keeping up with me, and this goes on for what feels like 10 to 15 minutes. The scariest part of all of this, which I wouldn't have thought of, is it is completely dead silent. All I hear is my breath and feet on the sand. All I hear is my breath and feet. Okay. Lila with the 2 says, roast me, daddy. I'm Lila and I'm only fans of the best football teams. Coincidentally. No, I know you've probably been fans of Ohio State and the Pittsburgh Steelers forever. Oh wait, here we go. The Steelers lost to Washington. Ha 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 ha. Sucks being 11-1. I don't even know. I don't even know a good roast to Lila. I'm Lila, and my cat peed on my pillow, but was too lazy to get a new one. I don't know. All I hear is my breath and feet on the sand, and when I turn, I only see his shadowy figure up shore keeping pace with me. Suddenly up ahead, in the sand, I see a small blue light and what looks like 4 people on the beach with a blanket. They are a bit up shore. I turn and look at the figure and bet even though they are up shore, I can beat them to these people, so I start sprinting towards them with the hopes of quickly telling them what's going on so we all can confront him. I really use up my energy sprinting towards them, and as I approach, my heart drops. What I see is 4 guys on a blanket, with 3 or 4 handles of hard liquor surrounding them. 3 of the handles are empty, and the 4th is about half empty. 3 of the guys are just completely passed out in the blankets, and the last is half sat up, obviously beyond drunk, with a sort of party hat on that has blue lights on it, and he's talking to himself. His eyes are half closed, and he doesn't even register me approaching him, even though now I'm no more than 5 feet away. I turn and see the figure has slowed down and is observing me, and then I see he makes sense of the group's state and suddenly starts sprinting at me. As he gets closer, the half-passed out guy with the blue Do 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 do. Boom ba boom boom ba ba da. Boom boom ba boom 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 ba da. Okay. As he gets closer, the half-passed out guy's blue light illuminates him, and I can clearly see it's the same guy as before. I make eye contact with him, and I can see he's wide-eyed and looks almost manic, and is barreling at me full sprint. At this point, I decided to do something decisive. It seemed like I had underestimated his fitness, and since I had just sprinted towards this group and exhausted myself, I was afraid that he might be able to catch up to me if we just continued running along the beach indefinitely, and then who knows what. So instead of turning around and running, I suddenly sprint towards him and to the right, which I don't think he was expecting at all. I catch him off balance and run past him, and I literally am full sprinting back to the timeshare without even looking back. Literally all the hairs on my neck were standing, and it felt like a dream where you're barely evading someone, but he's right about to catch you. The adrenaline was crazy, and I keep running and start to see the timeshare. I finally turn around to see how close he is, and I see him in the distance, maybe 400 to 500 feet away. He's lost a lot of distance on me. I don't waste any time and sprint up the boardwalk and towards the base of the timeshare. I jam the elevator buttons and leap in, and start mashing the closed door button as I'm gasping for air. The door closes, and I hit the button for the floor. Blech. Lynn Ragsdale with the 2. Thanks, Lynn. Thank you. Time keeps on slipping into the future. I wonder if there's like a slowed down version of that. I jam the elevator buttons and leap in, and start mashing the closed door button as I'm gasping for air. The door closes and I hit the button for my floor, and when the elevator reaches, I literally sprint back to my room, open the door, enter, and then slam the door and double lock it. I'm breathing heavy, and I drop to the floor and just sit there for a minute, not believing what just happened. I crouch and crawl over to my room, as I was literally afraid he might be able to see through the window on our balcony, and I enter my room. Let's just say I definitely wasn't able to sleep after that. Oh. Do I like Baby Yoda? I mean, if all of a sudden someone told me, like, did you hear how they fucked up the Mandalorian? They, like, Baby Yoda died in a trash compactor, you know? Like, I wouldn't be that upset. But I did hear that they gave him a name now. What's his name, like Grogu or some shit? I crouch and crawl over to my room, as I was literally afraid he might be able to see through the window on our balcony, and I enter my room. Let's just say I definitely wasn't able to sleep after that. The Ohio State versus Michigan game is canceled? Wait, so they didn't reschedule or anything like that? You can slow it down with YouTube settings. Yeah, but whenever you slow stuff down on YouTube, it almost gives it like a screeching sound. I don't even know how you describe it. Like, it makes it sound very harsh. Oh, here's a paranormal story for you. Grogu, nice. Anne Van Slyke with the 5. Thank you, Anne. Thank you. Let me know if you had a message you wanted to add to that. Sometimes it does not. You've been coding for hours listening to my stories. That's awesome. Yeah, what is coding? Just like you type stuff in and hope it works kind of thing? Or do you like know exactly where you're going to be putting? I've heard of like code monkeys and stuff like that, but I never known much. Lynn Ragsdale with the 5 says, you're amazing and I wish I could support you more. I love all of your podcasts and have been a fan since 2016. Also, maybe some dark web stories soon. You know? That would be interesting. I'll have to look into where we can find some dark web stories, to be honest, because I feel like that's almost like a blacklisted topic here on YouTube, and tend to avoid them, but I don't know. But thank you, Lynn, for your donations. I really appreciate it. I'll look into it. You got a notification from Fender, baby. Oh, does that mean you got a, you're getting a guitar or something like that? Thank you, Anne. Thank you. You're awesome, too. You should go on the dark web and let us know. I'll have to have my own experiences. You like scrambled eggs? If so, with ketchup or not? Yeah, I feel like if you have scrambled eggs, you kind of need them with ketchup. I used to make scrambled eggs with coconut oil that tasted actually really good. Like it almost made them taste sweet. Like you didn't even need any ketchup. But, sometimes salt and ketchup goes a long way. Ketchup. Alright, so. Paranormal. Gargle Master Pro. I'm getting good. Honestly, I feel like I have to. I've been reading for so long tonight. I don't know why my throat's just like getting shittier as we go. Eggs and cheese all the way. That's all you need in life. Egg and cheese diet. Some people go on like an egg fast. I find that interesting. Imagine if all you ate all day was just eggs. I guess not the worst scenario ever, but be a little weird. Fuck, man. My throat is going. Yas, Queen. Paranormal. I was born in 1970. I'm a male. For as long as I can remember, I've seen the same woman, always at a distance. Let me explain. When I'm in a moving vehicle, I'll see her on the street. Sorry. I had a big old burp hiding in my throat. Lay an egg much? I could lay an egg. Oi, he shit out an egg. How many eggs she shit out? The farts will be brutal. Perhaps, that's true. Oh, holy shit. Boom, 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 boom. This is creepy already. See, this is why I think paranormal is so creepy, because it's just like so fucking surreal. Chantel Luckett with the 5. Thank you, Chantel. I have seen the same woman, always at a distance. Let me explain. When I'm in a moving vehicle, I'll see her on the street. If I'm walking down the street, she'll be on the other side of the street. I've seen her through restaurants and shop windows. I was passing under a bridge, and she was on the bridge. She never ages. She looks exactly the same now as she did when I was little. And whenever I see her, she looks right at me and smiles. It's kind of a sad smile. Like there's always something she wants to say but can't. My earliest memory of her was when I was around 4 or 5 years old. I was riding in the car with my oldest sister driving. I remember looking out the window and the lady was standing on the corner. We looked at each other and she smiled that sad smile, and I remember saying that to my sister, that lady looks sad. My sister looked over and said she didn't see anybody, which didn't make sense to me because she was standing right there and she was the only one there. I chalked it up to my sister messing with me. After starting elementary school, I would see her from time to time outside the windows, and as always, she would look at me and smile that same sad smile. Over the years, I've estimated her age to be early 20s. Her hair is long and brown, and her eyes are blue, same as mine. She's always wearing a dress of some kind. Oh, man. Thanks, Lila. I'm your most listened to podcast on Spotify by far. Thank you. Yeah, I've got a lot more hope for the future of the podcast than I do for the YouTube channel. It kind of pisses me off that like you can be on YouTube for so long and like YouTube will just be like, all right, you've been on here for a long period of time. Let's not like reward your channel by like sharing it with more and new people. let's just fucking, I don't know, algorithmically demote it or some shit, because basically the amount of subscribers I've gotten over the recent more period of time has been like half compared to what it used to be. And I almost just kind of feel like the fact that it's so consistent almost make me feel like it has to be like sort of an algorithmic, like mathematical decision by YouTube, like almost like it knows exactly based on its like mathematics, like which people are going to most likely subscribe to you, so that's who they show it to. But you know, it keeps it at a certain number to maintain those averages. And I just don't, you know, I don't know. Like, obviously, the channel I'm going to continue doing forever as long as I can. But it's just, I feel like as far as growth goes, I don't really know how growth happens on Spotify. But I feel like I'm noticing that, like, Spotify's growth has been a lot faster, so to speak, and a lot more consistent, you know? YouTube has skill-based matchmaking. That's hilarious. I've been hearing about that a lot with Call of Duty Cold War and heard it's really bad. Like, what is it about skill-based matchmaking that happens with or not YouTube, but like Cold War, that makes it poopy? What story are we on? We're on story 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of 10. Mac and cheese with red chili pepper powder. Hubby wants some yum sugar buns. May Reed. Hesketh. Sorry you're late. That's okay. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Damn. Boop, 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 boop. Boop. Aaron Newton with the 50 big ones. Holy shizzers. Says, I had my first encounter with a dude whacking it while he was driving down the highway. Just know us truck drivers can see into your cars. A little PSA for you, lol. I always look forward to listening to you driving at night. Much love. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. I'm sorry you had to catch me out there on the highway. Sometimes I just gotta take care of business. And what better place to do it than in the I always thought my windows were tinted, but maybe you could see it at an off angle from the height of your truck. Thank you, Aaron. Seriously, that's the big dono of the night right there, so I really, really appreciate it. Seriously. And much respect to truck drivers. I mean, they pretty much keep this country alive with as far as logistics and fucking commerce. Ooh. Okay, I was like, I hear a cop car, but it's like, I thought it was in my headphones for a second. Okay. But yeah, seriously, who does that in your car? Like, do you not think someone's just gonna see? Maybe it's just like part of their weird kink of like public humiliation or some shit. Amber lamps. It was an amber lamps, probably. It's probably that someone get hurt by that damn leprechaun. Said Amin. Thank you. The same as mine. She's always wearing a dress of some kind. They've been various colors over the years, but always like a light summer dress. Nothing that would identify her to any particular place and time. And it's always either spring or summer when she appears to me. As I got older, I quit trying to point her out to people because nobody ever saw her. The only exception being a friend's toddler who I was minding while her mother was in the bank. We were sitting on the hood of my car drinking juice boxes and talking about whatever interests a 3-year-old. I looked up and the lady was on the other side of the street. There were cars going each way, but the only people around was the 3 of us. I looked at her. She smiled and for the first time waved. Before I could wave back, my friend's daughter waved at her. I asked if she saw the lady and she giggled and said yes and said she wanted a flowery dress like hers. I looked back at the lady, but Just then, my friend came out of the bank, distracting me. When I looked up again, she was gone. The toddler's gown now... Whoops. The toddler's grown now and has no memory of that day, as would be expected. When I was a punk teenager, I decided that the next time I saw her, I was going to approach her and find out what her story was. The only thing was, I never knew when I would see her. There was no rhyme or reason or pattern to it that I could see, and I got my opportunity 2 weeks before my 18th birthday. I was driving somewhere and I saw her standing next to a party store. I quickly pulled into the parking lot and jumped out of the car, keeping my eye on her. When I almost got hit by another car, I took my eyes off of her for a millisecond, and she was gone. I tried numerous other times with the same result. I finally accepted that it was never going to happen. She's never given me a malicious vibe or a beneficial vibe. She's just there, smiling that sad smile. I've tried calling out to her, but as you'd expect, there's never an answer. I'm 50 now, and I still see her from time to time. She's still in her early 20s. I drive trucks long distance, and I've seen her all over the country. A friend of mine who's into spiritualism says that she could be somehow someone who's connected to me somehow. Fuck. That's kind of funny that this person turned out to be a truck driver, and the last person that just donated, Aaron, is a truck driver. Aaron, have you ever seen any creepy ghosties waving to you on the highway? Sorry. You've been listening to my stuff when I was a guest on Tat's Top Videos. Yeah, how's Tats doing? Does he still make SCP stuff? A friend of mine who's into spiritualism says that she could be someone who's connected to me somehow. I have no idea how. I'm hoping when my time on Earth is through, I'll get to talk to her and find out who she is. It's weird that I only see her in spring or summer. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I do find comfort in seeing her. It's hard to explain, but if she ever stopped appearing to me, I believe that I would grieve. Seeing her, even though we never speak, and she only ever waved once, gives me a good feeling. I would like to know what the story is behind that sad smile. Fucking ghosts. Ghosts are so annoying. Get the hell out of here. Am I right? Go to hell or heaven. Come on, pick one. Oh my god. This is a long ass motherfucking story of video stories. You're not feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? How come? Sade, amen. Thank you, said bro. I love your calming voice. You do not understand what it feels like going to sleep listening to you. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad. Sleep is very important. You need it. Honestly, I've heard that like one of the biggest contributors to depression throughout all the age groups, but primarily studied in like the younger developing age groups of like preteens and teens, because they're like going through so much growth that their body needs that sort of rest to build itself. The biggest contributing factor to depression in teens and preteens is the lack of sleep. So I suggest you fall in love with sleep and get as much of it as you can. Pass the bong, bruh. Pass the bong, bruh. Just gargles is all. Oh, man. I am tired, boy. I would say it was more paranormal, my experience. I'm not sure. But to set the scene, we live in the desert in northern Arizona. Small population towns, 20 to 30 miles between some towns. One night, a couple of months ago, I was driving home from my mother-in-law's house to our house. It's a 35 to 40-minute drive through the desert. It was late, and it was just my newborn baby and I. My husband works late, and I was at his mom's house, so I wasn't alone all day. To get home, you have to drive through about 20 minutes of Indian reservation. The only thing between the town she lives in and our town was a tiny gas station that is closed after 7 p.m. This was in August, so the sun isn't setting till 9:30 or so. So it had to have been about 10 or 11 because it was pitch black out. I remember passing the station, and I vividly remember checking the gas price on the large illuminated sign the gas stations have, because gas is usually cheaper there, and because it is on the reservation, they don't charge taxes. The large chevron sign shone bright in the pitch black, but the prices were not lit. It didn't seem weird to me because the gas station has been closed for a few months due to COVID, but you could still get a gas. Oopsies. Didn't seem weird to me. Nikki Newman with the 2. Thank you, Nikki. And Spoony Life with the 5 says, my German Shepherd loves watching your streams. He sits here and watches till you're done. Won't even let me touch him, though I should. Thought you should know. That's hilarious. I saw a baby, well, not a baby, but like a adolescent German Shepherd today. That was like a younger puppy. Must have been like a year, maybe six months to a year old. But he was so cute. I feel like that would be a really cool dog to have. And that's amazing. He just sits and watches it. That's so weird, but amazing too. Hello, puppy. Puppy doggy. Give him a freaking kiss on his face. Northwest Games with the 5 says, just got like 4 rare Pokemon cards while listening to this. Nice, dude. I was watching, I don't know if anybody watches XQC, but you know, sometimes I'll tune in just because he's kind of a bit of an oddity, you know what I mean? I don't know, I like his energy. He's a good guy. And he was opening, like, you know, he spent $20,000 on first edition dark, you know, like dark Pokemon cards. And I don't know, I was kind of transfixed by all the shit that he was getting, because he was getting some like good ass shit, like dark, you know, holographic dark Charizards and all this other kind of stuff. And it was fun. It was fun to watch. So I don't know if I would spend money on Pokemon cards now that I'm 30, but I also could totally see myself spending money on Pokemon cards now that I'm 30. But thank you guys for your generosity. Critical opens Pokemon cards, nice. Yeah, first edition Dark Charizard. Yeah, it was pretty wild. I'm sure he probably actually, XQC has that, probably made a video up on his channel. I was watching it while I was live, which was pretty fun. Hey, good night, Raven. Sleep tight. Enjoy your dinner. It didn't seem weird to me because the gas station has been closed for a few months due to the epidemic, but you could still get gas at the pump with your card. I remember checking my rear view to see if the prices were listed on the opposite side. They weren't. No biggie. I had plenty of gas and just wanted to check. So I get about half a mile past the station and see a bright light in the distance. This is a long stretch of desert road where you can see forever in front of you and forever behind you because there are not many turns in the road. I thought it was odd because there is nothing but desert and tall red cliffs to the north where I saw the light. Maybe it was just a vehicle on one of the old dirt roads. As I approached it, I was entirely confused. It was the gas station. Again. What in God's name? I thought as I passed the station for a second time. I chalked it up to me being sleep-deprived because I had just had a baby and wasn't getting much sleep. Although I was still freaked out a little because I could see the gas station's lights in my rear view when I saw this new light. Whatever, it's late, I'm tired. I keep driving. Again, I see another light off in the distance. I think maybe it's a new billboard I didn't notice on the way. I get closer, and I kid you not, it is the gas station for a third time. I'm wide awake at this point, tripping out. I have drove this road 1,000,000 times. There's no cell service on the reservation, and I am not knowing what to do. So obviously I keep driving, get past the gas station once again, and what do you know? I see this light out in the distance for a fourth time. I get closer. It's the freaking gas station for the fourth time. Fuck. Oh. Pardon me. I see the gas station for the fourth time in a row. Dragons of Magic Girl with the 2 says, hi, my name's Athena. I've loved your vids for years. Thank you, Athena. Well, welcome, welcome. I appreciate the support. I really do. And I appreciate you hanging around for the long haul. Said Amin. I've done it. Tell your sister what's up. You don't want me to do the English? I can't help it. Just pretend it's a Floridian dialect, and I'm breaking into a perfectly pronounced accent. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know this part of Florida. I sound tired. Yeah, but I only got like 2 stories left after this, and we're almost done with this one, so we should be good. It's always the British people get really mad when I do the English thing, because I guess I'm bastardizing their accent. But I'm curious though, because it's very infectious when you hear like a British person's accent. You just want to emulate it as an American. I don't know, you just want to copy it, make fun of it, take the piss out of it. But it's just fun. It's all in, good fun, obviously. But I'm curious whenever like someone from, the UK hears, it's nice, isn't it? What's this all about? I love that, like where they talked about the guy waking up in an ice bath with like his missing a kidney and being like, now what's this all about? But yeah, I'm curious like if people from the UK hear like American accents and want to copy it, like just, I don't know, as instinctively as we want to copy their accents. Probably not, because everything Americans do are bad. We're just bad, all the time bad. Northwest Games with a $10 arena says, also, have you ever had a scary paranormal experience? And I got an ex-Gengar. What the hell's an ex-Gengar? That sounds sick. Dude, all the, like, what is his name? Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar are like some of the coolest ones.
Hey, listen.
Spinal. Spinal, says Steve. Southern accents is cute. Sorry, yeah, I am tired. My brain's starting to wander. Why are Americans so infatuated with the English accent? I never hear British people trying to sound like us. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we just hear it in like pretty much like every, I don't know, movie from old time always has to use an English accent or something, even if it's like in old Rome or some shit. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's how it's represented in media, as if though it's, or yeah, maybe we're just more akin to novelty. We hear something silly and we're like children, who knows. Thanks, Brooklyn. Thank you. Can I do a horror animation video? I'd like to. Making animations is hard. And I usually like work with somebody. It takes a lot of it just takes a lot more production value than that I have the time for. Formal and fancy. That's a Boston accent. So tired of people mocking me. Hey. No problem. It's hard to start doing Boston accent and then you end up sounding like a New Yorker or something. I get closer. It's fuck. I get closer. It's this gas station. For the 4th time now. I'm losing it. I'm thinking I'm going to be stuck in this some sort of loop of another dimension forever with my brand new baby. Some glitch in the Matrix or something. I am also terrified because I have heard many stories of skinwalkers in this area. If you've never heard of a skinwalker, look them up. And you're welcome for the nightmares. So we pass the gas station for the 4th time and see the light once again in the distance. I know I am losing it at this point. I squeeze my eyes shut as hard as I can for a few seconds, about to start bawling, hyperventilating at this point. I open them and it's gone. Thank goodness. I drive 95 the rest of the way out of the reservation and I don't know what happened. I could have just been terribly sleep deprived, who knows? Nothing like that has ever happened since. I will never be driving that drive after dark ever again, though. Probably pretty lame, but it's the creepiest thing that's ever happened to me most recently. Actually, let me go back to the last sentence. I don't really like when people say their story's lame because, oh God, John Oliver. You guys can keep John Oliver. I don't know what happened. I could have just been terribly sleep deprived. Who knows? Nothing like that has ever happened since. Oh yeah, spooky stories of my own. Sorry, I think I missed Northwest Games. Sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, but yeah, sorry. I remember you asked that question. I got fucking mixed up there. Basically all I've had is just some sleep paralysis experiences and kind of being paralyzed in my bed and feeling as if though there's a dark presence there. But I've kind of figured out how to make it stop almost instantaneously now. John Oliver is a U.S. citizen now too. I don't know, just find him annoying as fuck. He's just so condescending. Everything I say is true. I'll tell you how to think and what to do at all times. And if you're not doing it, you're a fucking idiot. And don't you hear the audience fucking laughing in the background? That lets you know that I'm right because there's a crowd of people laughing. It means you're stupid. You're stupid. It's like Pavlov's dog. You laugh when they laugh. You laugh when they laugh. The Cockney accent is kind of bad, though. Thanks, dude. Can I please reply on my comment? It's the newest comment, please, for evidence that you called my name. Please reply to it? Or, right now? I think I did. Or do you mean, physically type something in on a video? Because I'm in the, I can't really do that in the middle of a fucking stream. They're especially good at southern accents. Well, that's good to hear. I guess it depends on where you're at. They all vary from place to place. It's pretty interesting. Every state even has an accent, even if you might not realize it. There's always just some little thing. All right, we got 2 more stories. But as a teen, I was too stupid and naive to listen to red flags. I've always been good at blah, 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 blah. Okay. Someone smoking that dank outside your window. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Gordon Ramsay. Gordon, I like Gordon Ramsay, and I like when he's mean to people, and I think it's funny, but at the same time, he can go fuck himself. You know what I mean? For someone that just spends all of their fucking day criticizing and belittling and shitting on people, you can go fuck yourself. I understand that's your shtick. That's how you made your buckaroonies. You're apparently a fantastic cook. I've never tried your shit. It might be fucking raw. It might be fucking raw, mate. But it gets a little old, always being angry all the time. I guess he has to do the show with kids to pretend like he's not a completely soulless bastard. Chef stories, that would be fun. The chicken is fucking raw. I do, yeah, sometimes I do like them yelling at people, it's funny. Spinal. Your boss is like Gordon Ramsay, that's... I mean, why the fuck would you ever want to work for someone like that? Like, I get it. Like, a restaurant is demanding, but why would you ever need to be, like, psychotic? Like breaking people the fuck down. Northwest Games with the Bucks is also, you should hop on Discord for, like, 10 after this. Maybe. I might just. It's getting close to my Betty time, though. It's fucking raw. It's fucking raw. That'd be funny if you said it's fucking raw for, like, like WWE Raw as, like, an introduction. It's fucking WWE Raw. And then he, like, flexes and his shirt pops off, and he is pretty, like, he seems to work out a little bit. You fucking donkey. You fucking donkey. And he, like, throws the food in their face and does... My favorite, though, is whenever someone comes up to his counter and like a customer, which I assume is, like, staged, but they just, like, calls him a bimbo and tells him that, well, oh, great, you can fuck off. How about you fuck off? How do you join the Discord? One of the mods can link you there, hopefully. Joel smokes too much. I don't smoke weed. You guys think I smoke the ganja? I'm not a fan of getting high. I mean, I like it better than alcohol, but I hardly ever do it anymore. Shrek is a cutie. One of your teachers is a female Ramsey. It sucks because it makes it almost like, it's almost taken, like, I imagine, like, chefs, and in their head they think they have to act like Ramsey or something like that, and it's like, I'd rather you just let me work at my own pace. Maybe you tell me to hurry up or something like that, and I don't know how that's gonna, maybe it's raw because you gave me 30 seconds to fucking cook the chicken. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how they expect them to be like a literal robot. Just build robots, Ramsey. Build an army of robots that can be your little fucking chefs, and you just type it in and it 3D prints your bullshit. Joel smokes horror. Said Amin. I realize I'm not pronouncing it right. Yeah, I'll just heart your comment. Do you ever do Disneyland scary stories? I did pretty recently, actually. He isn't quite as nuts on UK. I know the editing for the US was pretty nuts. Ramsbot. Fucking raw. I hope he has an aneurysm on TV. Sometime during the school year in 2013, a friend of mine started dating a guy who'd graduated 3 years ahead of us. We'll call him S. Halfway through the year, my friend announces that her dad accepted a job halfway across the country and that her family was moving. We were all really sad to hear this. Fuck, dude. How many fucking... Let's see real quick. Oh, 55. Huh. It's been 3 hours, and there's only 55. I've only made 55 like starts and stops on the audio files, which is kind of interesting. Thought there was gonna be like 100. Fucking raw. Joel, I imagine your teeth being white after all that gargling. I don't think I'm oh shit, it is mouthwash. I'm gargling mouthwash. Yeah, drop a like, my dudes, if you can. Drop a share, even though it's almost over, but I was seeing Jurassic World, but it's Gordon Ramsay saying raw. No. That sounds funny, though. What do I keep gargling with? Just water. Just cream. Just Gordon Ramsay's donkey sauce. Sometime during the school year in 2013, a friend of mine started dating a guy who'd graduated 3 years ahead of us. We'll call him S. Halfway through the year, my friend announces that her dad accepted a job halfway across the country and that her family was moving. We were all really sad to hear this, and S was absolutely devastated. While she was still in the state, we started making the most of our time and hanging out all the time after school. S was the oldest of all of us and was in community college, so he picked his girlfriend, me, and a couple of other friends up from school in the afternoon, and we'd hang out at the park, go get ice cream, just innocent things teens do after school for fun. Then, things took a dark turn one day. The girlfriend drove me and another friend to someone's house for a girls' day. We had an amazing time watching, or rather talking over, movies and having snacks. We were all having such a great time that none of us were on our phones. Well, girlfriend eventually checks her phone and sees a flood of missed calls and texts from S. He's demanding to know where she is and why she isn't returning any of his messages. He accuses her of not loving him or trying to get rid of him. Girlfriend steps out to call him and talk him down and ends up telling him that we're having a girls' day at so-and-so's house and that she told him that that's where we'd... hold on a second, let me... Yeah, I don't know. I'm just... S finally got wind of my mother's hunt for him, and he showed up at my house. I was sitting on the couch waiting for him, and blah, blah, blah. I'll cut this short. Sadly, there's so much more I could say about the fallout between S and I don't know. I feel like if nothing exciting actually happened in this story, I don't even really want to read it. Not to be rude to whoever wrote this story. I just... My voice this is like the first time in a while my voice actually feels like I can't, like... I mean, I can, but I feel fucking tired. And I'm not really sure this story is like adding anything to the overall content. S did this annoying thing where he was in the wrong, but he would pout and try to grasp for sympathy. I feel like anything short of him not like lighting their house on fire, I feel like might as well not include it. Moral of the story is don't date shitty dudes because they're never going to get better, usually. This next one's shorter. Back in a little later, I couldn't say it was a couple of weeks ago. Kidnapped, raped, and murdered a teenage girl. Okay, this one, I mean, it's fucked up, but at least it's shorter, and I can bust through it. Let me just say it. Skip that last story. Blah, 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 blah. Sometimes I feel like stories are like really long, but they're just kind of like erroneous details, and I can already like sense where, based on the story writer's like writing and the excess of detail, that I know that it's just going to be like one of those like stories where nothing too creepy actually happens. They just felt like mildly uncomfortable for a year straight, and nothing really culminated in anything. And obviously that's a good thing that nothing bad happened, but it's just like eventually people are, you know, you get the comments like, this isn't even fucking scary, mate. It's fucking raw. It's not even raw. You've learned a lot from my channel. Nice, that's cool. What have you learned? You want me to hurry up at this point? Alright, we'll read this last one and then we'll read the outro. You guys think of something funny for me to say on the outro. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and one of our biggest annual events here, pre-pandemic, is the Balloon Fiesta. People gather here from all over the world to go see the hot air balloons. It can be fun and exciting, but I feel like my childhood experience soured me against the whole thing, and you'll soon know why. Back in October 1991, I was 9, almost 10 years old. My mom and I were going to the Balloon Fiesta with her flaky and free-spirited friend. The friend said she had invited a couple that she had met recently. They were from Mexico and didn't speak much English, if any. I don't remember. But anyway, I don't remember many specifics, as this happened nearly 30 years ago. What I do remember, however, was getting seriously bad vibes from this couple and telling my mom, "I don't like these people, Mommy." I'm sure my mom probably brushed me off as being a silly child, as she usually did. And what we later found out is why I've learned to always follow my intuition. It was a little while later. I couldn't say if it was a couple of weeks or months, but that couple I didn't like had kidnapped and murdered a teenage girl that went to high school with my sister. The couple ended up hanging themselves while in jail awaiting trial. I recently verified this story to make sure I didn't dream it up or something. I googled where I remembered the girl's name to be found at least one newspaper article about it. Wait, sorry, that whole fucking last part sounded weird. I recently verified this story to make sure I didn't dream it up or something. I googled what I remembered the girl's name to be and found at least one newspaper article about it. Her name was Yolanda Medina, and she lost her life way too soon because of two sick monsters. Get the hell out of here and be a goddamn man. I'm a man, man. I'm a man, man. I'm a man, man. I'm a fucking man now, I'm a man now. Hey, Dad, I'm a fucking man. I turned 18, so I'm a man now. He did that in Berkey, New Mexico. It was a wedding for my ex-boyfriend's sis. She's a bitch and the biggest douche ever. Nice. It sucks when people are poopy, you know? If you ever feel like you're poopy, just don't be. Be not poopy. Be foodie, you know, not digested food. Be the opposite of that. Be presentable, unraw chicken. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let'sReadOfficial, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. And poopy poop poop. Okay. Say the Gordon Ramsay is raw meat himself and undercooked. Sucker Punch with the 5 says, always been curious as to what your thoughts in Corpse are. To be honest, you two and Lazy are my faves from the horror community. I don't know, you know, me and him, like, don't really know each other that well. Like, you know, we know, like, I remember when he first started YouTube, I was at, like, maybe 10,000 subs, and he reached out to me, to collab, and we collabed. And then pretty much from there we've not ever had an actual conversation, I guess. He's just not a very talkative person, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of I've attempted to chit chat with him and stuff like that, but he just kind of like is not super open, I guess you could say. Spinal. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty amazing that he was able to get on board with the whole Among Us thing and pretty much be like the face of Among Us at this point, I would say, because I think even like PewDiePie and all those guys like pretty much use his name for clickbait views and all that kind of stuff when they say like, I'm playing with Corpsey, and all that kind of shit. So But I do remember, like, whenever I started, I remember seeing that Boy in the Band kid with, like, red and black hair at PewDiePie's wedding. I was like, oh, that guy. Okay. And then I remember seeing that Boy in a Band and Corpse were doing some videos and stuff together discussing random bullshit. And I was like, oh, wow. So Corpse is literally like 1 degree of separation from PewDiePie. And I'm like, well, when's that like going to pan out until like it's going to be, help him pop off? And then it did. He did Among Us, and seems to have blown up from that, which is amazing. If you can do that, might as well. You know what I mean? If it's going to be the better sort of decision for your channel, and obviously it is, because he went from 1 million to I think like 6 million subscribers now. So, and each one of his like Among Us bullshits are like 20 million views. Like I don't really enjoy the game. Like I honestly have no idea how those guys can play that same game as much as they do. I guess it's nice whenever you get 20 million views on it or whatever, but I feel like I would struggle to like maintain a sense of sanity, you know what I mean, playing it over and over again. But 'tis what it is. But it's cool now because like with his channel being so big, essentially whatever, say Among Us dies down, which it seems to be now a little bit, not quite as popular, I imagine anything he, any direction he goes down, he pretty much would start trends. He would start a trend by any game he plays now. I sound jelly. I'm just fucking literally, I'm just like I'm just observing from an outside perspective. Like I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like people do what they want to do. I don't care that he's like, he's just doing what he's doing, and I'm happy for him, But I don't. But at the same time, I don't really know him. I don't know him as a person. So it's kind of just like someone, like say you asked me about PewDiePie or Video Game Donkey or Markiplier or any of those random YouTubers. Like I don't know who they are at all as people, and I don't watch their content or anything like that. So it's just kind of like, 'tis what it is. The content is not the game, but rather the YouTuber and their friends. Yeah, I can understand that. It brings out like the personality and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I've always thought about like, oh, I could branch out to different stuff, but I don't really know what that would be. I don't really know. I don't know what I would do, And the bad thing is that I'm not really good at like networking with people. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like I feel like I would have to meet them IRL. Like I don't really know. Like I'm not really sure how people like meet bigger YouTubers and kind of like branch out from there and all that kind of stuff. I feel like for me it would have to happen like randomly, and we become just like friends arbitrarily or that kind of way. But who knows? Honestly, right now I'm just thankful. You know what I mean? I'm just thankful that I have what I have, to have you guys here supporting me during a stream. I have you guys watching videos, and the channel's doing well, you know what I mean, to allow me to like be independent, and then the podcast is continuing to grow. Like I'm just thankful for the fact that I'm able even to do this, because I never would have expected it to work out, Who would I want to collab with more? I don't know, honestly. Like if there's other channels out there, like it was cool to collab with Slap Tam, various others, but I don't really watch a lot of content within this genre that like to know who I should be like hitting up or saying what's up to, you know what I mean? I think that a smart move on my part would be to eventually and honestly maybe talking about it is worse, because it kind of just like makes you feel like you did it even though you didn't do it. But like eventually getting into actual voice acting would be a lot of fun. I think that would just be like personally satisfying for me, even if it's not like blowing up on YouTube or something like that. And me and Let's Read the same person. I hope so. We're like Jekyll and Hyde, Hyde. Ever thought about putting art in the background of my videos? Yeah, I used to like put like video games from channel, like gaming channels that were cool with me using their footage. I used to put people doing drawing, but it just like, it was, my rendering software was so like unreliable, and it would take a long time, that eventually I thought like just putting the still frame was sufficient, as other channels would do it, so it's like, and pretty much everyone just listens anyways, even though I did think the idea of putting like horror games and stuff in the background just to like promote them would be a lot of fun, but I don't know. Yeah, being a clout chaser. It's like, I don't want to be a clout chaser because I know people like that and it's kind of annoying. But I understand that like sometimes they're doing it for, a business choice, you know what I mean? Because they hope to get more views, that's always like the end goal. You can't sit there and lie to yourself and say that you're not trying to like blow up or do well, but at the same time you kind of have to maintain sort of a stoic perspective that like what you have right now, no matter what it is what you work to get, and now you're here and you got to be thankful for it. And I'm thankful for where I'm at. I feel very comfortable. Now sometimes I guess that comfort kind of like keeps me from maybe pushing further, but at the same time, oh yeah, we're done, Hannah, sorry. How are you? You got a cool icon next to your name too. I don't even know what that is. It's like a orange thing. I don't even know. I have collaborated with Mortis Media. Yeah, there was, I forget who, I think it was Mr. Spook. Is that who it is? He does, I feel bad, I don't even remember. But we talked briefly. He kind of does like top fives, I think. So I reached out to him about being in a video and he talked about it, but I think it might not be till January that he puts that together. I put a video game on the Scary Uber stories. Yeah. I just thought it was cool, like, to have something to watch while you listen to stuff. It's almost like, and I remember at the time I was worried. I thought like YouTube really wanted you to maintain sort of like visual aspects to your videos, but it seems like they're pretty comfortable with like podcasts existing in their current state on their platform. So I'm cool with that. Colin, can I say your name? What's up, Colin? Southern Cannibal, yeah, but been on Southern Cannibal's channel many a time. He's been on mine. I'm kind of at this point where it's like, as far as like narrations go, it's like I pretty much exhausted all the different directions of collaborations. But perhaps I should, maybe I should try harder. I don't know, like as far as reaching out goes. But all you can really do is reach out to someone like one time, like if it's whoever it might be, and if they're not into it, they're not into it. There's really no point in like pushing it too much, because otherwise you just don't want to like come off as that person that annoys people and essentially is just trying to use them as like a footstool to get somewhere else, because that shit's pretty easy to spot. Put Minecraft in the background videos. That would be cool, just like all nether shit. Scary airplane stories. I actually have like two airplane stories videos. If you search them on the channel, you should be able to find them, or do like airplane, let's read airplanes or something. Like they say, why mess with a good thing anyways? Thank you for the work you put in. Your streams are like one of the few things that fix my serotonin machine. You're welcome. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Don't push too much, raw daddy. Fucking raw. Stay true to yourself. Yeah, I'm not even sure, not even sure what myself be though, Anyways, but yeah, what should I say for this outro, my dudes? Collab with BuzzFeed Unsolved. Fuck, that's actually might be a good idea. I could probably like audition for one of their things. I don't know if they do like multiple narrators, but I actually think I could probably audition for that and do well. If they would be into that. I'm not sure though. reach out to the analysis folks, Rainbot, Scare Theater, Nexpo. Yeah, like Rainbot, I've actually spoken to the more like. I remember one time I went to Hawaii and she was visiting Pennsylvania at like we were at visiting at the same time, so that was kind of funny. But I haven't talked to her in a long time. Scare Theater I've never talked to. Nexpo I knew, and then he blew up, so it's like, it is what it is. He's doing well, which is awesome. Jesus, Jamal, what the fuck? BuzzFeed Unsolved would be a shout. Yeah, that'd be dope. Mixtape. Yeah, the mixtape is really where my heart's at. Alright, what the fuck am I gonna say? It's raw! Tell him to get out here and be a man. Get out of here. Be a man. A man. I feel like sometimes if I say things at the end of stories, like it's such an inside joke on here that people would be really confused. Gerald Gerdes with or Gerdes? I don't know. With a 5 says, love your videos, been watching for years, don't get to watch the lives very well. Welcome, Gerald. Thank you for making it. We are now just heading off here. I'm trying to think of something funny to say. What about talking about SCPs? I know. I need to find like a way to expand, maybe do a new channel. Still brainstorming, Fucking raw. Stay in school, kids. Alright, we'll say that. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, stay in school. See, that'll make YouTube happy. They told him to stay in school. Here's 1 million subscribers out of nowhere. This outro is raw. Actually, let me say that instead. Fuck school. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, it's raw! Jesus, I hope that's not like super loud. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, it's raw! Okay. That should be, that'll do. That'll do. Using mouthwash more than once a day is really dangerous, it kills good bacteria in your mouth. Oh, come on. Just me gargling mouthwash 30 plus times a stream? How is that bad? Come on, bro. Alright, my friends. Thank you again for an amazing stream as always. I'm glad I got to get it started early. I'm hoping to, like I said, get my schedule figured out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I will be able to do streams Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday at a decent hour, maybe even starting around 7 p.m. Whenever normal videos come out and stuff. So I can kind of stay consistent there. But either way, thank you guys so much for just being amazing, generous, and kind, and awesome people. It's always fun to chat with you, and you make me laugh a lot. So, Garcias. But yeah, video will be out, audio will be out first on Patreon if you want to sub there. It's only $1 a month, $10 for a year on Patreon. Get early access to the audio. Then it'll be out on YouTube tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Follow me on Instagram, letsread.official. Follow me on Twitter, Let's Read Creepy. And follow my meme page, Horny Computer, on Instagram. Always a good time there. Send me memes. I like memes. Join the Discord and fill the Discord up with memes. It's really where I get most of my serotonin, so you feel me? Alright, my friends. Love you and thank you again. Come join the Discord to chat with everybody and be friendos. Always a good time. And I shall see y'all in the future.